World. Wakey, and thank you for choosing to break your morning with AM Live. It is the 13th of March 2020, and we have a lot lined up for you today. We shall be discussing about friendship, and all that is happening on the Leadership Forum. Now, good friends are vitally important to your mental health and to the quality of your life, according to granola.net. To live and to love are inseparable from each other. Friendship is an opportunity to love, to learn about yourself, to mature as a human being, and to open up to the full experience of life. To seek true friendship, you must have the courage to risk all that you are. You must have the courage to walk through your fear of emotional intimacy and let another person know who you really are on the inside. On a very practical level, you must be willing to invest the necessary time and effort to develop, nourish, and maintain the bonds of strong relationship. Friends take time, and you have to call them and make the effort to be with them. You have to be willing to let them get to know you, and it has to go deeper than just the superficial stuff. You have to respect them enough to allow for disagreement in your relationship and allow your friend the freedom to be the different person that he is from you. A friend has to be important enough for you to make a significant space for them in your life and in your heart. And today we want to dedicate the show to talk about the value of friendship. Right? And we'll give you also a handy opportunity to make sure that you call in a friend, share a tweet. Let's just remember our friends that sometimes maybe we feel they are slighted off because of the activities in our life. You know, the busyness of life nowadays, seeking all the trappings of life sometimes can relegate friendship on the back burner. So we want to discuss that with our panelists this morning. They're already here in studio with us. Already you can see Michael Oyer and David Waweru. We're expecting more to join us this morning, but here is their guest profiles. Yes, they'll be here momentarily. Already, as mentioned, David Waweru is here and also Michael Oyer. But before we go there, let's see what is fresh off the press this morning. And we begin with the Daily Nation. This is what you're waking up to on the front page of the Daily Nation today. Ruto allies plot to block Raila at BBI rally. This is the political intrigues in the country. Face off political camps in major battle as countdown to Rift Valley event begins. Control only 3 days after President Kenyatta declared that he had confidence in the ODM leader to drive the campaign. MPs supporting the Deputy President say they plan to take full charge of the Nakuru meeting and will not give any leader from outside the region a say at the event. You have this developing story also on page 6 of the Daily Nation today. And also, Council Vice Presidency, YDP faces tough choices. Remember, this is an ongoing series, and you can follow this story on page 4 and 5. This is a cast of the Vice Presidency. This is a side-by story here, but all the full details are fleshed out for you on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation this morning. Also, frantic efforts to address blood bank. Health Cabinet Secretary Mutai Kagwe says government now has support from the World Bank to help it transition to self-funding of the service. He blames cartels in the blood industry for the crisis. You can follow the story on page 10 of the Daily Nation. And also remember, today is Friday. You have the Network magazine, that is a pull-out magazine inside the Daily Nation, Leaving the Nest, when it says when really is the right time to move out of your parents' house. Find all the details inside the Daily Nation today. This is how it looks today. Also on top, coronavirus, while stares at lockdown, Champions League matches off, sportsters contract disease, and Olympics now in doubt. Yesterday you saw also the lighting of a torch. That ceremony was without the thunder that we've known it to have. Right, there were no participants, as in there were no actually people who were spectating. And you can follow the story on page 55 and 57 of the Daily Nation today. Denmark and Italy under quarantine as US bans flights from Europe, leaving thousands stranded. The story continues on page 3 of the Daily Nation today. Let's move quickly and see what the Standard has for us. Ruto faces Raila test is a splash today. All forest new monkeys. History repeats itself as Deputy President walks the very path of political humiliation that crushed dreams of ODM leader under the Nusu Mukate government. This story continues on page 6 and 7 of the Standard today. Also, Kenyans start to feel corona heat. The world is today staring at a total lockdown as leaders struggle to come to terms with coronavirus pandemic that has claimed close to 4,800 lives. Global cancellation of flights has hit hard Kenyan manufacturers, importers and exporters, cutting off key markets and sources of raw materials. Investors are already filling the stock market and small businesses are running out of stock, signaling a looming shortage of basic supplies. The government has stepped up emergency measures to contain the pandemic, but news from Europe and US, where major sporting events have been cancelled and new cases are being reported daily, suggests this will be a long battle for Kenya and the world. And you can follow this story on page 2, 3, 4, 47 and 48 of today's Daily Nation, not really Daily Nation, but the Standard, and get all the details about how coronavirus truly is rattling even the global markets right now. We can see the international indices as they are right now. They've recorded very low turnouts since 1987. You can talk about the Dow Jones. We can talk about the S&P as well. We'll give you all these details much later in the course of the program as well. Keroshe's bank accounts frozen in 9 billion shillings tax row. This is a story that continues on page 11. The taxman issues agency notice to the Brewers Bank asking to recover the outstanding tax bill. And all that is on page 11 of the Standard today. Also, remember to grab a copy of the Pulse magazine inside the Standard today. Pulse magazine. Let's move on. We see what we have on the front page of the Star. Yatani warns of COVID virus economic shock. These are tough times. CS says virus will hurt businesses and raise the already high cost of living. Government is considering setting up a fund to cushion businesses. This is what many developing countries are doing right now, coming up with economic stimulus, so to speak, or a package to try and cushion the blowbacks of coronavirus. And this is a splash here today. The attorney warning of COVID virus economic shock. Government is considering to set up a fund to cushion businesses. Also, recovering Tuju visits doctors to thank them for saving him. lucky to be alive. Cabinet Secretary Raphael Tuju returned to Karen Hospital to thank doctors and staff for saving his life following his February 12th crash. Tuju said he will forever remain grateful to the staff at Karen Hospital and Kijabe Mission Hospital. You can follow the story on page 2 of the Star this morning. Also, coaching from hobby to livelihood. That is on Sasa inside the Star. Auditor General recruitment team declared invalid by court. Back to square one, President Kenyatta may have to appoint a new selection panel to recruit the Auditor General after the court declared the current team invalid. Judge Radido ruled the panel lacked the legal competence and validity to consider applications. You can follow this story on page 7 of the Star this morning. Quickly, let's see what we have on the front page of the People Daily. And this is what you're waking up to on the front page of the People Daily this morning. And it says the corona turmoil is a splash. This is a grim reality that we are in right now. It is a disruption from travel, trade, sport, and learning. The deadly respiratory flu pandemic has thrown the world into a spin, with America and India imposing latest blanket bans. Trade and travel, we know yesterday, US President Donald Trump announced sweeping travel restrictions on 26 European countries in a bid to combat the spread of the disease. The EU condemned the measures, turning them unilaterally and without consultation. Also, athletics. Jocelyn Chepkosgei, defending champ, to miss this weekend's New York half marathon after Athletics Kenya banned foreign travel for athletes. Also, learning, schools. Currently, schools closure due to virus outbreak have disrupted the education of at least 290.5 million students worldwide, according to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization. And confirmed cases globally stands right now at 129,854. We have also deaths that have risen now to 4,754 since yesterday. This is March the 12th. And we have at a glance tourism here. Kenya's health minister orders stringent screening at border entry points as Kenya Airways suspends all flights on the Rome and Geneva routes with immediate effect. Also, football, Daniel Rugani, Italian football club Juventus announced on Wednesday that defender Daniele Rugani had tested positive for the coronavirus. And that is the latest development as well. Maybe just also to inform you, the Arsenal manager as well has announced that he has been infected by coronavirus as well. That is Arteta. He tests positive for coronavirus. Club closes training ground as first team players are monitored. Also, the wife of the Prime Minister of Canada as well, that is Sophia Trudeau, has contracted also coronavirus, and the couple also will be in isolation for 14 days as well. And Trudeau is bound also to make an announcement today just to give a press briefing regarding the measures they're taking as a country on coronavirus. Right, also what it will take to impeach Deputy President is another story you want to follow on page 8 of today's People Daily. Let's move on. We see what we have on the front page of the Taifa Leo and the Business Daily. We continue past with the paper review. Kelele za Uhuru Ruto za tesa raia. It says vita vya rais na naibu vyagawanya nchi, maslahi ya Wakenya yapuuzwa, uchumi ukidorora. You can follow the story on page 2 of Taifa Leo. Virusi vya corona vyatangazwa janga la dunia, Trump akipiga marufuku safari nje. And that story continues on page 7 of Taifa Leo this morning. Let's move on. We see what we have on the front page of the Business Daily this morning. Kibaki ministers fight auctioneers over bank loans. Kibaki ministers fight auctioneers over bank loans. Former cabinet members Gideon Ndambuki, Stephen Darus and Raphael Tuju struggle to hold on to their properties. It says here several prominent personalities who served in the Kibaki or the cabinet of former President Mwai Kibaki or their families have fallen into hard times as they battle auctioneers over unpaid bank loans. Topping the list of the high-profile debtors And of course, I've given you the names: Gideon Dambuki, Stephen Tarus, Rafael Tuju, amongst others. The story continues on page 4 of the Business Daily this morning. Also, coronavirus victims lose insurance rights after World Health Organization notice. Insurance firms will not meet medical bills for victims of the deadly coronavirus after the World Health Organization declared the disease a pandemic. Standard medical insurance typically excludes epidemics and pandemics, meaning victims of the disease will not be able to recoup coronavirus-related expenses. The Association of Kenya Insurers, that is AKI, saying the classification of a disease as pandemic indicates that victims will settle their own bills if cases are reported here in Kenya. And you can follow the story on page 4 of the Business Daily. So we need to be cautious as far as preventive measures are concerned, so that at least, all this will be out of pocket, since now that is not really covered by insurance. And KCB profits up 4.8%. This is a standalone picture here, and we can see KCB Group CEO Joshua Oegara, Chairman Andrew Kairu, and CFO Lawrence Kimathi during the release of the lender's full year's results at Radisson Blu yesterday. The story continues on page 10 of the Business Daily. KRA seizes Kiroshe accounts, warns banks. You follow the story on page 4 of the Business Daily. Let's see what is on the ticker. Kenyans to wait longer for next Auditor General. Kenyans will have to wait longer for the next Auditor General after a court declined to stop fresh recruitment that began in December. The story continues on page 6. 16 billion shillings, that is the value of unclaimed assets. 16 billion shillings, that is today's digit, the value of unclaimed assets, according to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority. You can follow the story on page 6 of the Business Daily. Now, EACC is seeking 20 million shillings from US to fund aflatoxin law. East African Community has sought 20 million shillings from US government to finance the crafting of a legal framework to guide their fight against cancer causing a toxin threatening the region's food security. The story continues on page 7 of the Business Daily. And National Bank remains in breach of capital rules. The National Bank of Kenya remains in breach of capital adequacy ratios, even after receiving 5 billion shillings capital injection from the new parent company KCB Group in December. The story continues on page 18 of the Business Daily today. Also, remember, you have your weekender inside the Business Daily, and this is a transition here. The Deputy Auditor General who backed strong citizens' voice. Read all about him on page 26 of the Business Daily today. And court allows billionaire Humphrey Kariuki 74 days out of Kenya. You can follow the story on page 6. And also return of millet, modern consumers growing appetite for traditional crops. You can follow the story on page 16 and 17 of the Business Daily. Close country, we can head over to Tanzania, see what is a splash today. New channel for investors to voice concerns coming. Investment Minister Angela Kairuki tells an international business forum in Dar es Salaam that a database which will come into operation soon will enable the government to swiftly address investors' complaints. The story continues on page 2 of the Citizen today. And coronavirus urgent public health notice. It is safe to receive items from countries where COVID-19 has broken out. It is safe to receive items from countries where COVID-19 has broken out. Right, actually, that is a question. It's not really a statement. It says, is it safe to receive items from countries where COVID-19 has broken out? Yes, it is. That is the answer. A person cannot contract the coronavirus by receiving letters or parcels because the virus cannot survive for long on such items. You can follow the story also inside, or maybe it's an educational piece there inside the Citizen today. World Health Organization now declares coronavirus a pandemic, and confusion of Msigwa's fine. That is another story you can follow inside the Citizen in Tanzania. We can go now down to Rwanda, see also what the New Times is holding for us in Rwanda quickly. And this is what is on the front page of the New Times as well, all about coronavirus. Coronavirus, schools take precautionary measures. When the New Times visited Wisdom Schools, a group of private primary and secondary schools located in Musanze district on Thursday, pupils and students were queuing to wash their hands. It's all about taking precautionary measures as a splash reads, and you can see a related picture here. Also, MPs question low occupancy rate of cross-border markets, and REG embroiled in expropriation saga. You can follow the story on page 3 of the New Times. Let's move on. We see what we have. If you've not really grabbed a copy of East African for yourself, make sure you do so. And this is how it looks. And of course, on Monday, the East African unleashed the new look. This is how it looks. If you've not grabbed your copy yet, make sure you do. Today is the last day. Tanzania is EAC's new drugs hub, according to US. America's anti-narcotics agency fingers DAP as the region's new transshipment center for international cartels. The story continues on page 4 of the East African. Also, your regional paper gets a fresh look. Of course, this is an editor's note there, as I've mentioned. You can grab a copy and see all the new items as well. There's many markets and also news and brief there. There's also a magazine for you. All that in the latest copy of the East African. Let's see how the world market is performing as far as coronavirus is concerned. And this is the Wall Street Journal. Dow's 11-year bull market ends, and you can see the precipitous fall of the stock market in the US, joining also the London Stock Exchange. This has never happened since 1987, and all this is a blowback of coronavirus. Dow Jones Industrial Average since the start of the past bull market, and trending days from Dow peak to entering a bear market. They're all broken here for you. Virus appends sports as NBA also holds games. Trump also curtails travel from Europe. All that is tucked away inside the Wall Street Journal. That is the latest copy, of course. Time zone, or the time zone's not really withstanding, but you can get a fresh look also from their website as well. Also done here, Weinstein sentenced to 23 years in prison for sexual assault, and Sanders stays put in the race. Read all the details about this also inside the Wall Street Journal. I want to show you also the latest copy of The Economist. This is how it looks, the politics of pandemics. So if you've not really grabbed your copy yet, this is the latest copy of The Economist. I want to show you also the latest copy of a Time magazine, if I have it here. If I don't, we'll just move on a pace, and I'll show you that much later in the course of the program. Well, that's it for now from the dailies, but we have laughter and levity for you also from the editorial pages as well. This is in the Star today. The gloves are really off. Bare-knuckled there. This is the politics of the day, according to Ozone in the Star. I'll leave it for you to decipher that. And of course, you've seen the intrigues about also the BBI rally as well, and how also different politicians or members of parliament who are siding with either Deputy President or Uhuru Kenyatta have really come out in force to defend their own. So I'll leave it for you to decipher that. This is in the Star today. Let's move on to see what we have also inside the Standard. This is what Ghana has drawn today, just reflective of what the global markets are looking like. We have the London Stock Exchange, Nikkei, Nasdaq, which is grappling with the coronavirus effect. This is a transnational threat, and that is bound also to affect us adversely as well. You've seen from Yutani, that is the CS of the Treasury, announcing that yes, even the government is mulling over to come up with sort of a blowback, or not really a blowback measure, but a remedial measure to try and prepare the country for the effects of coronavirus. Let's see what we have inside the People Daily today. And this is all about the impeachment motion and the way the lions are singing, or they're singing or roaring, they should be, about the stopping reggae mantra that is inside the People Daily today. I'm just trying also to retrieve for you what we have in the Daily Nation briefly. I'll show you what Victor has drawn for us as well today. It's all about politics as well. Getting there quickly. It's a bit slow, but it's coming up shortly. Bear with me. Right, Victor with the Daily Nation there. From the archives, you've seen also the Daily Nation is up. If you can get Victor's cartoon there. So all these reports will come from the closets, or this is what the MPs allied to Deputy President are really gagging for. The Ndungu land reports, maize scam, Hustlerjet, or different sides actually are looking at that. So there's a Ndungu report from the archives of the other side of the divide, and also there's Western land case, maize scam, and Hustlerjet. You know all about these intrigues of politics as well, so I'll leave it for you to decipher that. Yes, that is what we have from the editorial pages. Looking at the cartoons, make sure you grab a copy of the Daily Nation or whichever paper that really floats your boat to read all about this. All right, let's see how also the impact of coronavirus is affecting different parts of the world, which is up next. Now, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's wife, Sophie Gregory Trudeau, has tested positive for COVID-19. Following medical advice, she will remain in isolation for the time being. She's feeling well, is taking all measures or all recommended precautions, and her symptoms remain mild, read a statement tweeted by Cameron Ahmed, Trudeau's communication director. Health professionals are set to reach out to people who have been in close contact with Sophie Trudeau. The Prime Minister himself is in good health with no symptoms. This is what Ahmed continued to say, and Trudeau will be addressing Canadians today. The statement continued also to say both will be in isolation for 14 days. And a Chinese official has suggested that the U.S. Army may have brought the deadly coronavirus into China without providing any evidence for his eyebrow-raising claim. Zhao Lijian, a foreign ministry spokesman, made the assertion on Twitter late on Thursday, echoing similar conspiracy theories proliferating on Chinese social media that blame the U.S. for the pandemic. The head of China's Center for Disease Control and Prevention has said himself that the source of the virus was wild animals sold at a market in the central city of Wuhan. But in recent days, Chinese officials and a prominent health expert have claimed that the virus may have originated elsewhere, as Beijing has angrily hit back at the U.S. officials for calling the disease the Wuhan virus. In his tweet, Zhao posted a video of the head of U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention testifying before Congress that some Americans who were believed to have died from the flu were posthumously diagnosed with the COVID-19 illness. CDC was caught on the spot. When did patient zero begin in the U.S.? How many people are infected? What are the names of the hospitals? Zhao tweeted. It might be the U.S. Army who brought the epidemic to Wuhan. Be transparent, make public your data. U.S. owes us an explanation. Chinese officials have themselves been accused of attempting to cover up the outbreak, as police in Wuhan reprimanded and silenced doctors who had raised the alarm about the virus as early as December. And just to prime you also, Italy, the mark has now reached over 1,000 as far as deaths are concerned, and or infections are concerned. I'll just be clear about that and let you know. And we'll be giving you more details of that also on our ticker there. But back to our topic of the day. This is the value of friendship. I mentioned earlier that good friends are vitally important to your mental health and to the quality of your life. To live and to love are inseparable from each other. Friendship is an opportunity to love, to learn about yourself, to mature as a human being, and to open up to the full experience of life. To seek true friendship, you must have the courage to risk all that you are. You must have the courage to walk through your fear of emotional intimacy and let another person know who you really are on the inside. On a very practical level, you must be willing to invest the necessary time and effort to develop, nourish, and maintain the bonds of a strong relationship. Friends take time, or friendships they do take time. You have to call them and make the effort to be with them. You have to be willing to let them get to know you, and it has to get deeper than just superficial level that we normally have. And we have our panelists already in studio with us. We want to just go right straight to them this morning and engage them on this, the value of friendship, and we continue with the conversation at pace. Also, I'll give you an opportunity today to just call in a friend and just wish them well. You can tweet, just tell us who are your friends. We'll try and also relay that message of encouragement or greetings as well this morning. So our social media is open to you. Know the drill. You can hit us on Twitter. AM Live NTV is a Twitter handle. AM Live NTV is a profile name on Facebook. And 20686 is our SMS portal. So let me head over now to the other side of the studio where we can engage our panelists who are already here with us. Michael Oyer, David Waweru, Simon Bavey, Angela Rariera, and also Dr. Tim Kiru here as well. Good morning, gentlemen and lady.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good. Welcome to my cafe. I hope you're enjoying the coffee and the tea.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything on your cup, please, or in your cup, you can actually let me know. I'll serve you. Right, let's just get some introductory remarks. The value of friendship. What really comes to mind, Michael Oyer, when we talk about friendship? Of course, we'll give you a handy opportunity on the lectern, but just briefly, tersely, can you tell us the value of friendship?
I'll say a few things. So, you know, you're jump starting what we're meant to go present. But what I'd say is two things: time and intentionality.
Time and intentionality
are critical to friendship.
Yeah. Critical to friendship. Fantastic. David?
I think I would say the value of friendship has a lot to do with how we connect with other people. Mm-hmm. And like Michael says, how intentional we are in doing that and investing in other people.
Mm-hmm. All right. Simon?
I think I would say friends add to life. Because they provide an opportunity for you to get to bear yourself and be loved. And I think we're born for love, mm-hmm. and it's in friendships that we reach out for that love. We get to receive it, but also give it, and therein lies the quality of life.
Mm-hmm. Right. Angela?
Friendships are critical to our mental, emotional, and social well-being.
Yes.
Very critically, and more importantly, is for us to understand that friendship is a choice. Unlike families that we are born into, we get to choose our friends.
All right. Let's hear from Tim. I'm trying to mic you here.
That's
this
okay.
is the tragedy now of arriving late a bit. Right? Okay.
Something gives way.
Okay. You can say something before I mic you well.
Thank you. I thought about the fact that we need different kinds of friends. Mm-hmm. I think very often when we think about it superficially, we think just people who love us, who tell us we look nice, who tell us all the good things. But those are not always the best friends. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We need the friends who will tell us the hard things in life, who will tell us ask us the difficult questions, So we need different kinds of friends. I thought that was profound as I thought about our time together this morning. That I'm here because I've been pushed by people who I didn't always like, but they got me to do what I didn't want to do, but I may be a better person.
All right, thank you. Thank you. So we want to hear from you, and I think, Michael, since actually you're the nearest to the lectern, then you'll proceed to the lectern and give us your slice and your take on what the value of friendship is all about. Just a tender reminder, we have the red card and the yellow card and the bell, just to make sure at least we keep time. So you got 5 minutes beginning now, Michael, and camera 3 is your camera.
Thank you. Good morning, and thank you again, Tibal, for the opportunity. The value of friendship lies in selflessness and in sacrifice. And this is expressed in any relationship that we might be involved in. As parents, as siblings, as colleagues, neighbors, classmates, whichever set that we might think of. But this morning, with your permission, I'd look at 3 areas where there's a value to friendship, and that is in our behavior, our attitude, and the rooting of that friendship. First, the behavior, that in our behavior in friendships that we might be patient with each other, that we might show kindness, that it's not about myself, it is not for me, but rather in giving to that other person. I'd look at attitude, where it has to do with not necessarily condoning, but definitely not condemning people for their failures. We would also look at not using those mistakes that I've made in the past, the wrong things that I've done to a person in the past against them, but also, hopefully, in the ideal situation, a friend, and the value of that friendship lies in even forgetting the wrongs that that person might have committed. I see that the value of friendship lies also in its rooting. What is it rooted on? And I believe that a true friendship is rooted in truth. Speaking truth to each other, basing the relationship on truth, that this friendship does not give up. It makes a never statement with regard to giving up on this person. And that, relates to what I've mentioned earlier, the patience and the kindness and the things that might be done to one in the friend's irritability, that you do not give up on them. This friendship and the value of it lies in its being always faithful. We might also say loyalty, that it always has a desire to see or hope in the best of this person. And again, I reiterate, being, I dare say, eternally patient with the person. So in conclusion, I'd say that the value of friendship is in our behavior, attitude, and rooting. Indeed, it has to be selfless and sacrificial, but its currency is intention, making a choice and a decision to move toward a person in time. For after all, we know what we value by the amount of time that we give it, but not only in quantity, but also in quality. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Right, and we know that the currency of friendship is its intention. How intentional are you in making sure that at least your friendship, whoever that who is your friend, he's being updated, is being called or she's being called, and at least you know about their whereabouts. Is it rooted on loyalty? True friendship is rooted in truth, right? And of course also forgetting some of the mistakes that we made along the way. What is your attitude as far as a friendship is concerned? Are you calling your friends? Please make them be aware they're talking about the true value of friendship. Yeah, call a friend to call a friend to call a friend to tell them that we are on the Leadership Forum. We're talking about the value of friendship. Thank you, Michael. And Michael is a leadership coach and also a counseling psychologist and also a media practitioner. Right, we want to hear from David Waweru, who's a writer, trainer, publisher, and management consultant. We want to head over to David, and he will give us also a slice of David Waweru. Then I can't get what you're telling me. All right, the mic on the lectern is not working. Okay. All right, so just yesterday as well, something shocking to me about a friend as well came to my attention. And she's been here talking about, friendship. She's been here talking about the brevity of life as well. And amazingly, she lost the brother that she was talking about. This is Tufosa Kwakasumba, who is our regular panelist here on the Leadership Forum. We just want to remember her comment that she made here while we were talking about the brevity of life and her brother. Just have this particular clip as we try and sort out our microphone, and then we'll get back to continue with our discussion.
What a topic to reflect on this Friday. Last Friday, I was scheduled to be here, so my apologies, I didn't make it. But it is because it is for this very topic is what I was involved in, and I've reflected on it the whole week. So last Friday, as I was preparing to come, I got a call that jacked me out of my home quickly. And I had to go and take somebody, and I will not go into many details, to hospital. I went to the nearest facility. First of all, on the road, I drove as if I was an ambulance. I went to the nearest facility, got emergency help, and immediately took an ambulance and rushed to the other facility where my brother was taken into ICU. So for the last 1 week, I've been reflecting really about life. I'm glad he's out, and that's why I'm able to be here. As we were, talking with the different medical personnel who are helping us, and thanks to 2 different Margarets, you know yourself, Dr. Halima, you know yourself, and the other doctors. And I thought to myself, life, indeed, like the Bible says, is like a flower. A flower, when it starts to come up and it blooms, it flourishes, we all admire it. But the truth is, flowers don't last. One day you have this blooming, flourishing, beautiful flower you're admiring, and the next day it is gone. Life is too short. Therefore, my friends, to live aimlessly. You cannot live aimlessly. Because when you live aimlessly, you sure will meet it. You sure will get nothing. You must live a life of purpose. And I think David talked about it. He said, what Miles Monroe said, that you must live a life of purpose. What is it that you were created to do? There is no good time. Angela reminded us, there is nothing like a perfect time. But today is what you have in your hand. You've got to use today. Life is too short, my friends, to live a life of average. My dad has always reminded us, nobody celebrates average. Have you ever seen the top newspaper headlines with average performance? Never. There is an enemy called average. You've got to dedicate yourself to excellence because nobody celebrates average. Life is too short for you to give up. The fact that you're alive today means that God has a plan for your life. You still have another day to make it happen. Life is too short for you to live with grudges and burdens of unforgiveness. You need to let go. Life is too short. You've got to enjoy it. And as one author said, life is what you have today. It is a gold mine. Go and dig it.
And that was 3 weeks ago when we were discussing about, or talking about the brevity of life. Tufi was here and she was talking about that particular brother of hers that now has passed on. And this was the same panel that we had then. I just want to give them just 1 or 2 minutes to just, also pass their deepest sympathy and condolences for Tufosa Kwakasumba as well. Right. Let's just begin with Mike, briefly.
I'd like to convey my sincerest condolences to Trifosa. At the same time, thankful that we shared the time, and she spoke about having an aim in life.
Yes.
And also that she made that decision to spend the time with him. I think made the time valuable that they had until his passing. So I pray that God may comfort her family, the larger family, give them peace, and that indeed he is resting in eternal peace.
All right, thank you. Right. Someone, baby.
Just to say to you, Trifosa, that may the Lord give you peace. I think this is a hard time when you lose a relative or a brother, in that case.
Yes.
Just want to pray for peace, that God will give you peace, but also in the midst of it, that there will be a lot that will be beneficial for the family and a lot of lessons to learn. So all the best, and wish you blessings during this difficult time.
Right, thank you. Let's hear from Angela.
Trifosa, I may not have met your brother, but the passion that was on your face when you talked about him is evidence of the relationship you had with him. Just to let you know, we are standing with you in prayer and wishing you courage and strength for this difficult journey and peace along the way.
All right,
May
thank you.
rest in peace.
Tim.
Yes, I am aware that it was a double tragedy. Yes, coming from burying your sister-in-law, Daudi's sister, and to face the idea that your own brother would be gone, it's not easy for any one of us. So may God comfort you. When I have faced a tragedy, anything close to something like this, it was a comfort of knowing that I could trust one who has been very familiar with losing friends, and as Jesus, may he make a difference to you and the family.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much. We continue pace with the conversation. We're talking about the value of friendship we had from Michael Uyer. Right now we have David Waweru, who is on the lectern also to give us a side of view of the value of friendship. That is the subject that we're using this morning. David, you got 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Dibal. Strong and valuable friendships make our lives better. And they add to our happiness, they add to our fulfillment, and I dare say that valuable, strong friendships also add to our general success in life, in whatever we do. And I would like to consider probably just about 5 areas, because there are many, but I would consider 5 areas in which we find value in friendship. And in thinking about these 5 areas, perhaps we could consider when we thought or knew that someone close to us is indeed a valuable friend and a good friend. And you may find that it's perhaps because this person or these people appreciated you. And it's because the need for appreciation is something, and a need for recognition is something that's intrinsic in every human being. The need to feel that you are valued, the need to feel that you are loved, just who you are, that need for appreciation. And the people who appreciate you are people that you would consider valuable and good friends. The second thing is the people who encourage you. Most likely when you think about your friends, you will remember people who were there when you were in need of encouragement, like now our friend Trifosa going through a difficult time. And I remember last Saturday had an accident, and when people got to know about it, the people who sent text messages, the people who called, the people who called out for coffee just to encourage me. And I think those are the people you consider as friends and valuable friends. And the third thing are people who forgive you. The fact is, in life, we make mistakes. Every person makes mistakes. And some of them pretty dumb mistakes. And the people who you recognize as friends and who add value to friendship are people who are able to look you in the eye and say, you blundered, you made a big mistake, you failed big time. But you know what? I forgive you, and I appreciate you as you are. The fourth thing is, again, when you consider value of friendship, are people who listen to you. We all have stories in our lives every day, our experiences, our fears, our hopes, our dreams, our aspirations. And I think people who spare time to genuinely listen to us are people that we would consider as friends, those who show genuine interest in what we have to say, and that makes you feel valued. And the final thing is people who understand you, because life is very complex, and we all have been brought up very differently, socialized very differently, and there are times that it's very difficult for people to understand you, particularly in certain either phases in life or certain circumstances in life, or sometimes when you've made certain decisions. But there are all those people who always seek out to understand you, and those are the people that you consider as quite valuable, and those who when you think about when you don't get understood, you feel resentful, you feel frustrated, you feel disappointed, and you can feel very lonely. And it's then that a true friends and a valuable friends comes in, because they understand you. And finally, I think what I would say is that the key to building valuable relationships is the ability to actually draw other people out, because friendship is a two-way thing. And more often than not, we are waiting for all these things for people to understand us, to forgive us, to value us, and to appreciate us when we are not making the first step. The law of life is that we actually attract who we are. And when we give value, when we give appreciation, when we give understanding, and when we listen to other people, when we forgive other people, there are very high chances in life that we shall attract the same things in our lives. And so valuable friendship is about giving, emptying ourselves. Thank you.
All right, so are you giving selflessly as far as friendship is concerned? That is what we want also to hear from you. Thank you, David Waweru, for that very interesting, of course, presentation there. We want to hear next from Simon Davey, who's a family man and who is passionate about transformation, as he's working to the lectern right now. Remember to hit us on Twitter. AM Live NTV is a Twitter handle. AM Live NTV, our profile name on Facebook, and 20686, our SMS portal. Someone take it away. 5 minutes.
Well, good morning, Kenya and friends. It's just a blessing for me to talk about friendship today. Last year, I had an experience where I had an accident. This accident almost killed me, actually. But by God's grace, I got out of it. And out of the accident, I had good conversations with family. I think when you come near to death, you get to consider what is valuable in life. And as we talked with my family, and especially my children, I remember one day I asked them, what would you have said if I had died in my funeral? And that was a very sober conversation. I would challenge some of you to go and do that with your families. But then my son asked me a very intuitive question and said, Dad, who would have taken care of us? Who are some of your closest friends had you died? And he asked for 4 names. Well, I said 4, but then he began to challenge some of them and say, I don't think you're very close to this one. I don't think he even knows which school we go to. And I think out of that experience, I began to realize that I wanted to spend the next half of my life really investing in some good friendships. So there are different levels of friendships. And I love a verse in the Bible, Proverbs 18:24, that says, one who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin. You'll always catch some friends in life, and some are unreliable, and that brings ruin to your life. But then it says, but there's a friend who sticks closer than a brother. And I think we're talking about those friends who can walk with you. They say in leadership, it's lonely at the top. But I think it's lonely at the top because we choose not to have friends. Ours has become a very connected society in terms of social media and all these other things, but very isolated. We're so connected on Facebook, on Instagram, and other places, but when it comes to one-on-one, we have very few friends. We're probably, as someone has said, a social scientist, the most isolated generation that there has been. So let me just talk about 3 areas of finding the kind of friends who would stand with you in life and beyond life. I think one of them is what is the value of those friends? And I'll talk about 4 things. Number 1 is companionship. I love it when I just hang out with my friends and we do some fun things together, nyam chom, some drives and other things. But just that companionship, you want to do it with people who are close to you. Number 2 is complementarity. There's some of my friends who are able to think in ways that I can't. They're placed in places where I am not placed. And when we get to talk together, I get some ideas that I would never have gotten by myself. They complement me. I give them ideas that they don't have. We lift each other up because we have different strengths and different exposures and different experiences. So complementarity. I think number 3 is challenge. You need the kind of friends who can challenge you. Can tell you, hey, you're going slow, you're not pulling up your weight, you could do better here, will give you the wind behind yourselves to move you forward. So friends who challenge you, tell you the truth, who don't just kiss up to you and tell you what you want to hear, but they're able to challenge you and tell you some hard things. And lastly is friends who come through for you. Yesterday I had a need and I needed something sorted urgently, and a friend of mine that we worked together, just bent backwards and forwards to help me out. And at the end of it, I mean, the friend didn't have to do it, but they spent a considerable time of their day yesterday trying to help me. They stopped everything. So you want some friends who come through for you, are committed to you. And so friends who bring companionship, complementarity, challenge, and friends who come through for you when you need. So who are these kind of friends who do those things? Number 1 is a friend who loves you. I think love is a commitment for the welfare of another. So you know that you have a friend when they're committed for your good, to your good, committed for your welfare. And number 2 is someone you can trust. You don't have to look behind you to see what they're doing or to listen to what they're saying behind your back. No, you can trust them. You can trust them with your life. You can trust them with the information that you have. You don't doubt them. You know that they are loyal. Lastly, it's a friend who is vulnerable, who can tell you everything about themselves, who can be naked, as the Bible talks about being naked before one another and not ashamed. In other words, you can share your mistakes with this person and not feel like they're going to judge you or they're going to look down at you. You can be vulnerable. You can say anything to them. So look out for friends who love you and are committed to you and you love them. You trust each other and you can get vulnerable with each other. So lastly, I want to say what we go out to do, knowing that life is lonely without friends. What we need to do, and I'll suggest 3 things out of my experience last year. Number 1 is to have friends, you must be friendly. You can't just blame people and say they're not committed, and yet you're not. So you have the friends that you are. And so to have friends, you must be friendly. So be friendly to other people. Do what you wish your friends would do to you. Number 2, focus on a few. Yes, you need different levels of friends. There are those who admire you. There are just your fans. There are others who are just acquaintances. But in life, focus on a few people that you know you can invest a lot of time in and walk this life with. And of course, the third one is what I've already mentioned. Invest time. I think friends don't just happen. You need times together, travels together, night outs together, just a lot of time together. You invest in those kind of friendships because they take you very far. So let me just say, I think for our emotional health, for our mental health, for our social health, for our spiritual health, and for us to live well and live this world well, we need friends. So I want to challenge you to ask yourself today, do you have those kind of friends that you know you could walk life with? And if you departed, they would be there for those who matter most to you. Have a friendly Friday.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon Bevy. And of course, those elements of true friendship, how are they applicable in your life? Companionship, complementarity, challenge, and also they come through for you as well in times of trouble. Love is a commitment in the welfare of another, and that is a true hallmark of friendship, of friends. We want to take a short break right now, but before we do that, we have also My Energy Story, that is a Twitter handle there, and she's saying that this is at Zedi Bariti, that friends are family we choose. The value of friendship lies in its foundation and should be based on truth, loyalty, selflessness, and not giving up on each other. I concur with Michael Oyer. The currency of friendship is intentional. This morning I appreciate Judy Ndegwa. That is from Zedi Bariti, Judy Ndegwa. She greets you. Good morning. Right, we take a short break right now. When we circle back, we will continue with more tweets as well and also hear from our panelists. Don't go away.
Discover the all-new Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Lotion, specially formulated with Nivea's Deep Moisture Serum and Africa's natural cocoa for 48-hour deep moisture. Glowing, radiant skin with Nourishing Cocoa Lotion from Nivea. Get 48-hour deep moisture from the new range of Nivea body lotions.
Things are thick. Think kama yeye penzi lenye mpaka kwa macho.
Na wewe unamjuaje?
I was his fiance.
Chika Storo kibao na 200% Storo bonus. Piga simu zaidi, tuma SMS au nunua bundles ufikishe target yako leo. Isitoshe, pata 50% extra airtime unapotop up na kupiga *544*2* amount hash. Safaricom, for you.
When you're facing stubborn stains, you're always in a fierce fight. Clean Soft kicks out stains.
This week on The Trend.
Oh, mine overdose. Wakaita makanjo. Kumbe ni sisi huwalipa salawa wao. Wakaita polisi. Kumbe polisi pia ni mpishi.
Nasikia nini wanakata maji. Sasa nkata maji nitapika ugali na nini?
Nakupenda kama sukari. Nakwambia kweli sisiri.
Only on The Trend.
The Trend, in association with Maybelline New York.
Fit Me Foundation from Maybelline New York. Fits your unique tone and texture. Blurs pores, stops shine. For your most natural matte. Fit Me Matte and Poreless, only from Maybelline New York.
I am Carol, and I've invested in the Alma by Saiton, located in Noaka. Investing in the Alma was the best investment decision I made. I was one of the area investors, and I have enjoyed up to 55% of the capital appreciation. If you are looking to earn above average returns, invest sharp in the Alma Phase 2 today.
Phase 1 is 100% sold. Call to reserve your unit in Phase 2 today.
Discover the all-new Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Lotion, specially formulated with Nivea's Deep Moisture Serum and Africa's natural cocoa for 48-hour deep moisture. Glowing, radiant skin with Nourishing Cocoa Lotion from Nivea. Get 48-hour deep moisture from the new range of Nivea body lotions.
Welcome back. You're watching the Leadership Forum, and we're using for subject this morning the value of friendship. We've heard from some of our panelists from the lectern there making the presentation. Standing by, we have Angela Rarea, and she's also going to give us her side of view as far as this subject matter is concerned. Angela, you got 5 minutes.
Friendship is a gift that God has given us to flavor our lives. When we were born, we found ourselves in families, a decision and a situation we had no say in the matter of, and we found ourselves surrounded by people who love us and have certain predispositions, certain behaviors and ways of looking at things that are similar to ours. But friendship is really a choice. It is the one thing that we have the capacity to do and to choose who we affiliate with, who we choose to walk different journeys of our lives with. So I'd like to begin by saying that we need to be the friend that we hope others will be for us and to us. Many of us have expectations, and many of us have been let down at some point or other by a friend who we were looking up to, whose support we expected. And my constant challenge to myself is simply this. Every time I felt let down and wanted to either lash out or feel very sorry for myself, is to just ask the one question: have I been 100% that friend to the people who consider me an inner circle friend? So friendship is a choice, and we constantly need to challenge ourselves to be the friend that we expect others to be for us. Friendship is an investment in time, is an investment in emotions, is an investment even sometimes of money. And when we say people are our close friends, that's what we mean. We would go out on a limb for these people. Secondly, friendship is really more about quality than quantity. If I look at my life, and I have been blessed, I have many friends across different races, people who have similar values to myself, people who are very differently expressed and who see the world very differently from me. One of the things I know is that as I grow older, I have taken time to appraise the relationships in my life. First, relationships in with my family members, and then also relationships with friends. And I think this is a healthy exercise to do every now and again, because it reveals to us those friendships that have been so critical to us that sometimes we take for granted. So it's important for us to know and be very clear also who are what I call my tier 1 or inner circle friends. Who would I stop even to lose money, lose a deal, to run to their side, because that is how important this person is for me. It is important for us to realize having many friends is not as necessary as having quality or true friends who will be with you for the long haul. Thirdly, friendship is an evolutionary process. There are friends who we met when we met them in our lives, sometimes in our primary schools. I even know people who have friends they have carried from when they're in kindergarten. Some of those friendships will follow us to the grave. There are friendships which are there for a season. There's a particular reason why your paths met, and when that season and reason has been fulfilled, those friendships will end. And then we need to step back and bless the people who have been our friends. Sometimes we struggle. I have had 1 or 2 friendships I struggled to let go of. And now in retrospect, I understand that those friendships were there for that particular reason. So we need to learn to bless the people who are with us, sometimes very deeply and intimately, at a particular time in our lives. And the fact that that particular reason has been fulfilled is a moment for us to celebrate those people, rather than sometimes to feel resentful and angry that those relationships are no longer in our lives. So I look at a real friend as a person who will walk into my life when the world has walked out. And this is a quote I borrowed from Walter Winchell. And I constantly ask myself, how am I being that friend that I expect others to be for me? When I talk about friendship being evolutionary, I think about some relationships with my siblings. In particular, as I've grown older, my sisters have ceased just being my siblings and have become very critical and core to my existence as my friends. So they would be the top in my top tier friendship. My message to everybody out there is take time to appraise friendships, because there could be friendships that are very near and dear to you. You haven't taken time, you're not investing time in those relationships, and they risk coming to an untimely death. I wish all my friends and my family a wonderful Friday, and I thank you for your friendship.
All right. Thank you, Angela Rarier. There, friendship, sometimes we need to realize they're seasonal. There are some friends that they just don't have to be in our lives forever. They were specifically serving a certain purpose in our time, or the epic of time in our lives, that we need to realize we don't need to really make some very, very salutary effort in trying to resuscitate those friendships. And those are some of the salient points that we've picked up from Angela. And also she reminds us that it is an evolutionary process, right? So we'll also try and drill deeper and try and seek to understand more from Angela when we sit down and discuss this. Lastly, we have with us Dr. Tim Kirui, who is the Vice Chancellor of International Leadership University. He's got 5 minutes as well to talk to us about the value of friendship. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dibal, and good morning, viewers. Good morning, panelists. It's a privilege again to be able to reflect on this topic. And building on what some of the panelists have already said, I thought about also a number of tips, and especially from a leadership perspective. First, as was pointed out earlier, many leaders don't have friends. They have lots of acquaintances. They build teams, they get work done, but those are not necessarily friends. So it's an important thing to appreciate that we all need it. One of the greatest leaders, David, and I'll refer a few thoughts from the Holy Book, the Bible, just because I think they are good timeless principles. You know, he said this: "You have taken from me friend and neighbor." This was during some of his hard times. "Darkness is my closest friend." You know, very interesting in that he'd feel that darkness would be better because at that time he felt let down by his own friends. "Look and see, there is no one at my right hand, no one is concerned for me. I have no refuge, no one cares for my life." You can feel the loneliness of a leader. You know, of course, during a time of his life when things were not going well. All leaders need friends. Secondly, however, it's good to be cautious in whom you choose to be friends. Because a lot of people are attracted by different things. Now, an interesting verse, wealth attracts many friends, but even the closest friend of the poor person deserts them. You know, people around you because of what they can get or because of who you are. And like Simon Baby said, will they be there for you when it really matters? I think there's a lot depends on personality. Those of us who are very extroverted may easily say we have many friends, but it's just because we easily connect with people. They may not be true friends or deep friends. The introverted may think the other way around. An interesting one, this is from Micah again. I don't know the context here that I would lead him to say this, but do not trust a neighbor. Put no confidence in a friend. Even with a woman who lies in your embrace, guard the words of your lips. May be quite controversial. But the need to be cautious in whom you choose to be a friend, in whom you share your life with. Beware of your friends. Do not trust anyone in your clan, for every one of them is a deceiver. This is Jeremiah. And every friend a slanderer. Friend deceives friend, and no one speaks the truth. They have taught their tongues to lie. They weary themselves with sinning. You know, we need to be cautious of the kinds of people that we choose to bring close to us. And part of the reason why we need to do that, would be my third point, is because these friends influence our destiny, how far you go as a leader. One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, like was said. But there's a friend who sticks closer than a brother. So on the other hand, there can be good friends who support you, who push you, who take you to the next level. And so to be careful then, that are we having the kinds of friends who will take us to the next level? Do not be deceived, my friends. Bad company ruins good morals. I'm sure many of us remember that from our younger days. No wonder it's been said that sometimes we are like the average of 5 people around us. So the kind of people we spend time with and let into our lives can influence our destiny. But friendship is an important concept because it also measures our level of humanness, so to speak, and on the other hand, maybe our level of reverence for God. A friend loves at all times. A brother is born for a time of adversity. Are we there for people all the time, or is it for what we can get? Anyone who withholds kindness from a friend forsakes the fear of the Almighty. How human, how caring, how loving are we, how considerate are we? That's an important consideration for leaders, especially those who would like to transform people or transform situations. Friendship, on the other hand, also tests our values. It is possible to love things, to befriend things, rather than befriend people. And I think in our convoluted world, that happens quite a lot, that people exchange things for people. A good thought here is that a friend loves at all times. It's one who is willing to lay down their lives, to sacrifice their very essence for people around them. And I found that to be a test at times. I need to get things done, so am I doing this just for the sake of things getting done, or do I care inherently for the people that I'm working with to be able to take them to the next level, so that as we get the project done, they are also becoming better people. They are getting developed in the process. It's easy to use people rather than truly care for people, so it can test our value system. But finally, I thought, even though the question of friendship is so important, it's a temporal phase. Maybe that's part of what Angela was talking about, it being evolutionary. I can see people who help me at different phases of my life, but maybe they just seem to disappear for the next phase, and so on. And ultimately, this is to prepare us for the afterlife, for the life hereafter. A good story, allow me to close with this one. It talks about a friend who goes to look out for someone at midnight. And he's in trouble and says, "Friend, lend me some 3 loaves of bread. A friend of mine on a journey has come to me and I have no food to offer him." And suppose the one inside, it's late at night, says, "Don't bother me, the door is already locked. My children and I are in bed. I can't get up and give you anything." I tell you, even though he will not get up and give you the bread because of friendship, because of your audacity here, so it's encouraging the sense of persistence in friendship, he will surely get up and give you as much as you need. And it's interesting that the author here, who's Jesus, eventually connects this and says, "Ask and it will be given to you." This is a good encouragement for us in terms of seeking friendships, because sometimes we don't maybe get as far as we can go because we never take the initiative. Seek and you'll find. Knock and the door will be open for you. Everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks the door, it will be opened. I think there's a place for seeking those friendships, to remember that they may be temporal for now, but they prepare us, they make us better people for the sake of the hereafter, which is a longer life. So I want to be a better person. I want to grow, through friendship. They refine my character, they refine my qualities. The good friends spur me on to be a better person, even for the hereafter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Tim Kiruhi. And we've heard from our panelists. We want to just buckle down and get to broaden our understanding from the points they raised on the lectern there. But in the meantime, also, I can just read some of the tweets that are coming through as well. We have Gidogori Eunice Walundiani. Thank you for watching from Lundiani, saying on point, Mr. Waweru. Also, we have James Ndungu saying, nice topic, following from Kirinyaga there. We do have Theodore Ken Atinda saying, true Bona Simon, that's why we have 4 types of friends. Friends for season, reason, lifetime, and the worst of worst are craft friends. This type is, I say, is very phobia to the growth and expansion, but rather pursue shrinking beyond our status quo. I'll leave it to decipher what Theodore is saying here. Also, we have Duke saying that that's very true. This is Duke Ian. You'll find someone with over 500,000 or 5,000 followers on any given social platform, but in real life, they only have 7 to 10 friends. We have also Lele saying, and Nakuru tuned in. Have a great day there. Thank you for watching. We have Theodore as well here. He says that I like the discussion as it talks plainly about the naked truth. The current generation is ostensibly concerned about the me and alone. We tend to extend the olive via media platforms, that is, media platforms, but the physique love got itself into the tomb of forgetfulness, right? This is what Teddy also is saying here. So our numbers also will be up momentarily for you to call in. I want you to remember your friends this morning. Get also a handy opportunity to just express your love. And if you've not really talked to this friend for the longest time, this will be a good opportunity. Let's hear how impactful are they in your lives this morning. So our numbers will be up for you to share, or maybe call in and share your comment and contribution. But for on my side as well, I've had them really talking about friends. I want to remember a friend who, for a week, he used to look for me when we were younger, and I was busy playing basketball. So I'll come home and I heard from my sister, or I'll hear from my sister that, yeah, you know, so-and-so was looking for you. Then I'll tell myself, tomorrow I'll go and I check out what he really wanted to tell me. So the following day, he came as well, rapped on the door, looked for me, but I was not there. I got the same message for a whole week, but I never responded. I always told myself, you know, he's my friend, he's always there. Only to realize that the following week that my friend had committed suicide. So I've always been wondering, what did he have for me? What was he looking for me? The nagging question has been, what did he want to tell me? Maybe I had an answer that would have changed the whole scenario. And so these are the things that sometimes we normally just, you know, slap them on the side. We get messages from our text and we say, we'll answer tomorrow, we'll check up on them tomorrow, we'll call them up tomorrow, but we never do so. Only when we want to, it turns out to be very too late. And so I think when we have such a topic, it's very pivotal for you also to realize, yes, that you need to take care of your friends when they're trying to reach out to you. They might not be having, you know, that very chic, I should say, or that very confidence of talking to someone else but you. And they want to hear what you have to say on the opinion maybe they are bringing to bear, but you're not there to listen. So take time to listen. And we want to engage with the panelists on that note as well. Michael, we begin with you. Attitude you mentioned. Also, you say friendship is rooted on loyalty. True friendship is rooted also on truth. Let's just expound more on that. What if you realize along the way that somebody is not really telling the truth and he's your true friend? Maybe we can actually begin in marriage, where you have the spouse, and I've heard you also sharing from the Bible that even the person who's closest, I don't want to massacre that verse, it might turn out to who's close to your bosom, at times, sometimes cannot be telling the truth. Then you realize along the way, the revelations which are coming to bear about your spouse, that she was never really very, you know, honest along the way. She has been immoderate with the truth, so to speak, economical with the truth, so to speak. Truth, how pivotal is it as a main keg or the main cog of friendship?
It's very key. But then at the point where you're knowing the truth, I beg your pardon, it's at a point in a continuum, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So you didn't know that truth until that point. And therefore I would call upon the earlier point that I made, and that's the attitude of not necessarily condoning, but neither condemning and not keeping the record of the wrong. Mm-hmm. So at some point, I think we all get convicted to come out with something that initially, for one reason or the other, we thought, maybe I shouldn't, maybe it's not going to be safe. And indeed, we didn't trust the individual sufficiently. But by God's grace, you get to that point. And at that point, if a friend comes and speaks the truth, mm-hmm. which goes against everything, I don't suggest that it's easy, but it is tough that we then listen to what they're saying for what it's worth, and not lose the hope, the patience, and the faithfulness in who they are and that relationship. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Maybe I could add something, Dibal, there. I think there are different reasons why we don't tell the truth, even when we feel like we're close to a person. Mm-hmm. And I would go back to the first man, Adam and Eve. Mm-hmm. And of course, after they sinned, they went hiding because of fear and shame. And I think those things still dog our relationships today. Sometimes a spouse will not freely tell certain truths to the other spouse because they're afraid. How is he going to react? What may she think about me? And that fear could keep you walled in so that you don't want to be vulnerable and say the truth. Or it could be shame. You're just afraid that this person is going to look at you differently. So I would say that there are a lot of emotional issues that go around friendship and truthfulness. And sometimes we need to go deeper beyond just condemning the person and say, why is it she couldn't tell me the truth? Why is it he couldn't tell me the truth? Let's get to the root of it and deal with it so that next time they'll feel free. So just a person not telling you the truth is not enough to dismiss them.
It's not enough to... But
it's an invitation to probe further.
All right. Is there any, providential time to tell the truth? That you think if I told this truth this earlier, then it might change the dynamics of the relationship or maybe the friendship altogether? Or if I waited longer and I told this truth, maybe this is the opportune time, right? Is there when there is a discretion to tell the truth within that continuum of time that you're talking about during friendship?
Yes, I would say, and I think Mike, being a psychologist as well, would say a lot more. But I would say, for example, we encourage a lot young people before they get married, that there's some material truths you need to tell about yourself to the other person. That if you don't say now, later it will feel like betrayal. You didn't tell me that. I made a huge decision based on what I knew. So I think in law we call them the same material truths. There's some things that need to be said before a decision is made, or as early as possible. But then there are others which may not be that material to the relationship, and it's just something I've been struggling to bring out. But if it's something that really affects us, like unfaithfulness and other things, then at the earliest opportunity you need to say the truth. If not, of course, it's going to cause more damage than you wanted.
David?
I think the issue of personality could also come into play because there are certain personalities, particularly the more dynamic personalities, that are more predisposed to speaking out things much more quickly than the other personalities that are more inward looking, a little bit melancholic, and much more careful and very stable, and they are always waiting for what they consider as a safe environment for them to be able to tell the truth, and particularly when that's a hard truth. And so I think when it comes to relationships, that's why it's always critical first to understand yourself and understand what makes you behave the way you do and how that influences your key relationships. Because more often than not, to have strong relationships and valuable relationships, we have sometimes to come out of our comfort zone, so that we are able to meet the needs of the other people. For example, the need, to know the truth as soon as it happens. So personality plays a very, very key role. But the second thing is, I think just having this conversation brings out the reason for why relationships should not be on autopilot, hoping that things will just work themselves out. And I think one of the words that was mentioned a little earlier was intentionality.
Yes.
And so that when I know that certain things do affect our relationship or could affect our relationship, even if it comes much later, I think you're always to be conscious of what the implications are and whether I need to muster the necessary courage, to do what I must do now. And if they are real friends, they probably would be willing for me to be vulnerable to them. Yeah.
All right. You raise the issue of personality, which I think is very key. And Angela, you talked about choice and personality. There are people who are not really as outgoing. They're very ultra introverted. It actually has to take you, maybe who is a more sanguine, to actually try and reach them out. How then do they develop, their circle of friendship? People who are sort of reclusive, because not they really want to be reclusive, but because it's actually their nature, it's their personality. They're not really outgoing. They want to be just on their own, locked up in a room. Yeah, they're sort of very geeky, reading books, watching movies on their computers and stuff like that. And I find they are a bit lonely because they've not really taken time to build on friendship, which is not really their mistake, it's just their nature. So it's a choice. So when you're talking about a choice and now you're encumbered with your personality, then what?
Okay. I think first is for introverts to celebrate themselves. Sometimes there's almost a notion or a misconception that to be extroverted is the better way to be. You are just who you are. This is how you came designed into this world, and it is perfectly all right. Think about a world with 50 or 90% extroverts. It would be chaotic. And I speak as an extrovert. So an introvert needs to be aware of the value for friendship. Friendship is about affiliation and addressing a human need to belong. And so even as you're introverted, you try and find spaces where there's certain hobbies, there's certain spaces where people do those things that you enjoy. You may largely enjoy being alone, but you can't tell me that you enjoy being alone 100%, because when life buffets you and life rocks you and shakes you, who are you going to turn to? So my challenge to introverts is stretch yourself. You don't need to surround yourself with a gang of friends, but make the deliberate effort to seek friendships, especially in spaces where you like or enjoy doing something. They're either shared hobbies or shared beliefs, or even if it's professional affiliations. Take time to connect with other human beings, because they feed into an innate desire of every human being to belong. You may just not, introverts sometimes feel drained by extroverts and too many people around them, but these people are also very important for you, because there's a side of you. No one is 100% introverted, I believe. You could be largely introverted, so these people will feed into your social need to belong, to be heard, to be validated by other human beings.
So the aspect of, maybe you can hear from Mr. Tim here, because you said many leaders don't have friends. We can't say all these leaders are introverts at the top there.
No.
Why don't they have friends?
I think first of all, I did mention about the need for caution in terms of because of trust. I think it's a trust factor. Many times people have been let down, or maybe the people who came close to them is for what they wanted to get from them rather than for who you are, or and so on. So I think issues of trust are part of it. The other one, and of course, many times you're handling maybe some sense of corporate secrets or other things, so you're careful who you let these things to, who you give yourself to. And of course also, maybe because of your stature in the organization, if something was to be known about you that's personal, of course it spreads like bushfire, can hurt you, of course, even your leadership opportunities and things like that. So I think there are those issues. But the other one, I think, which is more subtle and I think more serious, is it is easy to confuse the acquaintances around you, co-workers, contacts, for true friends. I've listened to people maybe who have been, say, in political leadership, and they say the day they were no longer in office is when the phones stopped ringing. Some of these would say they had 3 phones and they were constantly ringing all the time. So you would have thought that these were friends. These were not friends. It was in what is in it for them, contacts, wealth, whatever it is. So I think that it's easy to confuse. And because we live busy lives, and sometimes, unfortunately, there's even a feeling that maybe I'm busy can be a good thing, and people throw that, I'm busy these days, So I think it's easy to lose out those things. And I think, as Simon said later, it is when we withdraw, is when you look at the bare life, and if maybe when you're no longer in those positions, when you're no longer even there, what would that look like? So I think for leaders, it's easy to get caught up in that treadmill of life and so on. And it's important to get to the place where we determine who we are going to be, and we don't allow the circumstances to change us. So I've made it a point that when I get to ILU, I want to be able to greet everybody, not just the so-called important people, right from the gate, everybody else, and stop to treat them as people first, rather than just, thinking of the people who will easily help me succeed and so on. is a value, and I think I talked about that it checks who you are. How does power change you? Because I think that's the other thing. Many people give them just a little dose of power, and they're no longer the same people. They shed their old friends, they change their number, all those things. And I think it's easy to get caught up in those power circles, those power games, and so on.
So how is the aspect also maybe of the first among the equal syndrome also affecting leadership at the top? Because you feel like you're not really, you can actually not really take advice or seek some sort of wisdom from a junior officer, but you have to actually operate on that CEO level, that you're caught up in that particular bubble. Is you want to operate like a maverick at the end of the day. How then do you deal with that syndrome?
Yeah, it's very pronounced. You look at a lot of material for people who would write on leadership, power, and so on. They encourage a lot of that. And they actually say, don't let people get close to you. Don't be too easy to decipher. Be a bit mysterious, And you see a lot of the political leadership and so on. But you never get to know these people fully, and so on. Those who read Laws of Power and things like that, you'll see some of those things. But I think at the end of life, when it all comes down, it is the people that you connected with and so on, and it's who you are, because that should not change. True, I mean, there are things to manage. I may not be able to handle all the requirements on my time right now that maybe I would have handled a bit earlier, but I must still remain myself. Am I able to return the phone calls? Am I able to keep in contact and so on? But you've made a good point about seeing value in the team with first among equals concept. Just this week, I visited another university, and just listening to them, and constantly, the Vice Chancellor kept saying, we are here because I have so many good people around me. And that stuck with me. It's about seeing value in other people, and my role is to help them do their very best, is to be their cheerleader, to be their sponsor, to be able to help them in a positive sense, to be able to help them get to where they can be. So I think that's almost a concept that is getting lost in our leadership today, but it's so important, so vital that we work on that.
All right. Still back on the complementarity that was raised by Simon Bavey as well, talking about personalities. People struggle. Maybe you're caught up also in a relationship, so to speak, where you're not really compatible as far as personality-wise is concerned. How then do you deal with that? And do you have to go with a compatible, personality? That if I'm a sanguine, I have to look out for a sanguine. Why not really go for an introvert, a phlegmatic, or a melancholic at the end of the day?
Sometimes when you go for the same personality, it might be worse, not better. As Angela said, you put too many sanguines in the same space, they're competing and constantly clashing. I would like to stress one thing, and I think several of my fellow panelists brought it out. You have to make a decision at some point of how you're going to interact and be in this relationship. And I think that therein lies the value of the friendship. I know who you are. I see all your weaknesses as far as I'm concerned. I see what I don't like as far as I'm concerned, because in other people might view them actually as strengths. And then I make a choice. And I make a choice that irrespective of these things about you, you shall be my friend. Let me give you a small example. And this topic, Dibal, really took me to think very deeply overnight about what I've done with some of my friendships. But let me still just give the example. I have a friend from many years whose manners, to me, are not very good, especially table manners. In fact, they're terrible. I sit across the table to have a meal with her, and she's so excited to just talk, to say what she needs to say, but she also wants to eat the food. So what does she do? She chews as she talks. And I mean, some food might even fall out. Now, from my perspective, that is not the sort of behavior that, I give a 100% acceptable. Yeah? We have, and I'm talking of a friendship going to decades. We have looked at it, we have discussed it, and we have accepted. You behave badly in a manner that I don't like. And I have chosen to accept you even though there's food dripping out of your mouth as you talk to me. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
and I think Simon might be in a better position, but in the marriage relationship, it's a choice. You could go and find a few other people who might be better than your current wife or husband in some ways, but you made a choice and you stick to it. So whether they complement in terms of the personalities that you're talking about or not, if you've made that choice and you're in that commitment, then stick to it. But I do see where Simon was coming with regard to complementarity in friends that you go out to choose. And in that case, I mean, I have friends who, if you see me with them, you don't see how we flow. But we have a flow. One of them is very relaxed, casual. I can't remember. I think, he wears ties for very, very, very special occasions. A family funeral or family wedding. Other times, he will come in his jeans or a t-shirt and very relaxed. But I love the man to bits. But we have our flow. So I hear the complementarity. I also want to say that the personalities don't have to sync, but you do have to understand each other's personality to be able to operate together.
Right. Someone you want maybe to elucidate more on the complementarity?
I think it's just to add that many times you look for what you don't have. Friendships many times reveal what you're looking for. Because as human beings, when you see, for example, one of my friends talks a lot. I don't talk a lot.
You don't?
Unless, I'm preaching or speaking. I'm actually introverted.
Yes.
But he talks a lot. And he likes me because I listen. After a while, I get tired of listening to him. But when I feel lost, sometimes I just need someone who talks a lot. So in that case, he compliments me. I have a friend of mine, Kanji Mbugwa, who is very relaxed and very artistic. And whenever I have a leadership problem, sometimes I text to him. And he looks at it from a very different perspective. I'd never have looked at it that way. So in that sense, he helps me look at things from a very different perspective because of his personality and what he does in life. So I think that's what I meant about complementarity. You can't just find people like you. Then it's going to be boring and no value add. You need people who are different from you, maybe come from a different background. A friend of mine who is very passionate about the poor, and it just makes me want to help the poor. And he works with the poor all the time. So his conversations just add value to me because of what he goes through every day. But maybe just to emphasize, that sometimes there's a vulnerability that brings out the complementarity. I think until you fully know someone, sometimes you don't see the value as much. I think just running Man Enough across the country, the value I've seen is when men open up and really talk about what they're going through and some of the issues in their lives. Immediately relationships lock. I know you so well, I can see where I can be of help to you. I can see where we feel alike, or we've gone through, some things together. And relationships are really born in that womb of vulnerability, because you get to see birds of the same feather flock. So your friends, your friends, there's some things that you're alike in. But also opposites attract. Your friends, there's some things which you're different from each other. And so that attracts you, the differences attract you, and then the commonalities bind you together. And it's in vulnerability that the complementarity really comes to bear.
David, I was expecting all of us sometimes at one point, then on the lectern, all of you will be vulnerable, so that I get to know some of the experiences you've had, like what Michael is talking about. So I was really waiting for that moment as well. How do we bear out our hearts? Because I think at that moment is when, if you open up, then someone else will open up as well. But I think I want just to take an angle of just creating margins, being accommodative, knowing that I have these idiosyncrasies within me, I have all these foibles, but you accommodate me just the way I am. How pivotal is it then to just create margin, that I don't have to be a stickler for perfection? I don't have to be, so stiff-necked in one direction as far as maybe friendship is concerned. I cannot really take your weaknesses as well. Creating margins in friendship, maybe you want to drill deeper on that?
Sure. Let me take just one step behind to say that perhaps we don't celebrate diversity as much as we should. And the beauty of life and the beauty of creation is that God made it diverse. Whatever he created, he made it diverse. And perhaps we don't enjoy life or find as much value in life because we are very restrictive rather than accommodative. And we tend only to restrict ourselves to what we would call the comfort zone, the things that please me, the things that go along with my general view of life and how it should pan out and work out. And what happens is that when we don't take up a broader view of life, is that we actually live a very restricted lives ourselves, and we don't live it to our full potential. And so in terms of then coming to the question of accommodating certain margins, that is actually a skill that we need to develop because, again, like I said, relationships are not, we tend to leave them on autopilot, and probably that's why they crash so often and so quickly. But intentionality would basically mean that I am constantly honing my relational skills, my ability to relate with people of diverse views, of diverse behaviors, different shades of life, and all that, and still be able to find, like some people have said, that within my circle of friends, I actually have diversity. I have people who are completely not like me, and you know what? I think it's legitimate. So it's a skill we need to develop.
It's a skill we need to develop.
Yeah.
Angela?
Yeah. This then touches on what I alluded to when I was at the lectern about friendship being an evolutionary process. When we are younger, we tend to, if you look at your friendships at those very critical growing up stages in high school, you did hang out with people who are very similar to you. And that's why you had those gangs. And some of those gangs formed in your peerage, in your youth, will carry you through. Of course, along the way, many more will fall off, and other new people will come into your life. And so it's really about understanding that at any particular point in time, we are frail as human beings. You know, we have the shoulds of life, but many times we ourselves will not live up to those shoulds. We are human, we will fall by the wayside. And so what then happens is in this diversity, some people will hold us to account. If we have friends who are constantly, you see, like I like the story that Michael has shared. He has made peace with his friend who has demonstrates a pet peeve. So he has demonstrated that love to the friend. Then you have friends who will, if a friend is constantly having an issue with you about a particular thing, then you sort of want to ask yourself, is it time? Might it be time to, maybe this diversity, this particular way in which we are very different is not adding to the friendship. I don't think any human being enjoys constantly being nagged about a shortcoming that they have. And so it might then well be, as I said, that maybe that friendship has served its time. So what is the evolution? The evolution is that how we relate to people changes as we mature. When we are younger, we sort of want to hang out with people who are very similar to us. They think like us. They agree with us. Then along life's journey, as we become young adults and we join the world of work, we are confronted with a diversity that we might not have ever had to deal with. Because in school, you chose who you hang out with. But at the workplace, you're going to have to work, and in general society, you're going to have to work with and relate with people who are different from you. So then what happens? Do you keep making people wrong because their lens of life is different from you? No. In the workplace, you will have to appreciate the diversity, and in your social space, you'll have to choose what can I deal with? And what I can deal with largely is driven by how do I see the world? Do I see my lens as the only lens that can be used to live and experience life? Or can I actually celebrate the fact that there are very many different lenses that can be used to view and experience life? And that makes it very easy then to affiliate with people who have sometimes even the total end of the spectrum views. From yours.
Which audience am I thinking before I come to you, Simon, Daktari, on the fact that you're talking of evolutionary phases of friendship, that it is evolutionary. Don't you find it extremely difficult to make friends along the way? And here, what Simon was really talking about, the levels of friendship, that the people who have reached the deepest recesses of your heart along the way in the journey of life are the people that you grew up with, the people that you went to school with, maybe from the same estate or the neighborhood. You find that they know you more intimately, and they're intimately familiar, you know, with your struggles, with the joys of lives. Sort of, they really have the composition of your life. But along the way, you find when you go to the workplace or maybe to college, these people, you cannot relate to them as deeper as you can relate to the people that you've grown up with from your neighborhood. How then do you calibrate this sort of friendship? Because do you find that you gravitate more to the people that you've grown up with, or the people you've met along the journey? Different levels of friendship. And I would like maybe someone to tell us more. If maybe you could give us labels. Labels to these levels that you're talking about. That would be good, so that at least we can get a deeper understanding as well.
I think in general, and in agreement with what Angela is saying, initially we look for what we can get. And the focus is a lot on, that's why whether it's affirmation and so on, which is not, we all need that. But I think as we mature, and especially I would say for myself, I've learned this in my marriage relationship, that friendship is best expressed in looking for what I can give rather than what I can get. And this is at all levels, even in leadership. Initially, when you're younger, of course, you need a lot of affirmation, encouragement. But as you mature, it is what you give to others that really matters. Even a good speaker. Initially, I know when I was in my earlier years of speaking, I really was seeking that affirmation. I needed to know that I was doing it right. And also today, I'm not as conscious about myself. I want to think about the audience. What are their needs and so on. Something that has helped me, maybe in this whole space, is Gary Chapman's book, 5 Languages of Love. So thinking about the needs of others. So look at the people around you, whether it's a close friend, an intimate friend, the team members and so on, because there are people that I've had to learn to love personally. Because they're not easy necessarily to love, but I need to do that, because if I don't do that, then I may never help them get to the next level. And he basically, maybe for the sake of listeners who may not, or viewers who may not be familiar with this, acts of service, you know, there are people who thrive if you can do something for them, an act of service. Quality time. There are people who need that. Not everybody needs that, but as much, but there are people who need that. Physical touch, you know, a hug, not in these days maybe of COVID-19 and so on. You know, receiving gifts. There are other people who thrive on just, you know, a small token and so on. It really means a lot to them. And then words of affirmation. So all these are there, and I think understanding people, knowing who they are, what their needs are, I think as we mature, it's more to think about how to give love, how to give friendship, rather than just receive. That I think would help many of us to go to the next level with people that may otherwise not be your natural buddies or people that you said, you know, you grew up with and so on. But you need them in life to take you, to help you to be a better person, to take you to the next level.
Simon.
Yeah, looking at Jesus, he had these levels really. He had the 3 that he was very close to. That he would pull away and go to a place that was Peter, James, and John, and they're very close to him. So you need to define your 3, your inner circle. And then after that, he had the 12, who were friends, so they spent time together, but they were the next level. So you need to have a close circle and then friends. And he had the 70, who he knew them well, but I would say those are like acquaintances. They're people that we meet once in a while in church. We know each other, I know where they live, but really we don't spend a lot of time together. Lastly, there are the crowds or the fans, the people that you greet once in a while. They're on social media, you chat a bit, but you may not see each other for a year. You're not in that level. For a while. But I just thought it was, moving on from that, I thought, Dibao, it would be wrong for us to close without talking about the digital impact of friendship.
Yes.
Because we're talking to the digital generation who are more, you know, on the phone. Recently, I was in one of the coffee shops, and I was with my family. We were talking, and we looked at another family. They walked in, and they sat down, and everyone went to their phone. For 30 minutes, nobody talked to each other. they were just on their phone. 2 children, their dad and their mom. And we kept looking at them as a family and just say, wow, what a sad way to live. Maybe they were chatting each other. But still, that's not healthy. And there's a thing about just being digital savvy and really connecting with many friends, that you have a false feeling that you have many friends, but you really don't. And we have lost the social skills, the ability to be one-on-one with people, have conversations, listen, empathize, and really get close. And I think we need to challenge this generation to many times put their phones down or away and connect with people one-on-one. Nothing can replace that. Yeah.
Maybe they had a WhatsApp family group. Yeah. That's what they were doing. Right, let's just also give you a chance, just as your closing remarks, Michael, as well. When you comment and your closing remarks. Right. Your final comments and your closing remarks.
I just want to respond to the friendships of old. I think that God's wisdom is very critical in when to pull in and find a friendship and when to let go. I had an experience as a child, actually. I was in one school, and I became known one way. That school, thank God, shut down. And then we went to another school, and many of us all went to that school, but we were a smaller population within that school. And I had an opportunity to be known a different way. The first way was not good. The second way was good. Just to say that we can have people who we call friends who will keep us to that reputation or that person that you were, yet you have shifted.
Along the way.
Yes. So why didn't they move with me? Why didn't that shift occur? Partly, maybe I didn't carry them along, but partly also they didn't want to accept that other person and they, come back here, we know who you are. Come back here and be that person that we want you to be, not that person who you're evolving to be. In conclusion, then, I'll say what I started with, that the true value of friendship is in selflessness and sacrifice. But then there is intentionality and time, and I'd add honesty, and something that's being tested today, intimacy. Intimacy. One-on-one happens face-to-face. And as I was greeting everyone today, I noticed I was looked at a little strangely. I did it for your good. I didn't shake hands. I gave
you began with me. Yeah.
Yes. So it wasn't, and that just for the health of the nation and the world, we can say now, we're being tested with regard to intimacy. And I think that intimacy is being stolen by the digital era also.
Thank you.
So I'd say, may God guide us in how we treat people He's placed in our lives for those special times and moments and seasons.
Thank you.
To His glory.
Thank you, Michael. David?
We lived in a very fast-paced world. And there are demands from our jobs or our vocations, demands of our time from very many quarters. And what happens is, quite often, is one of the things that tends to suffer is friendship, because then all our space is kind of taken up, and we tend sometimes not to be conscious enough to create the time. But I think all the funerals, there's a common thread for all the funerals that I have ever attended, that when the eulogy is said and when people go to make remarks, the one common thread in all the funerals is how those people made sacrifices, created the time, made connections, lifted others, because ultimately that's what matters in life.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Angela?
Friendship, like many other things that we are going to constantly be doing and choosing in life, is a risk. We risk to be vulnerable with people we call our friends and trust that they will carry us along. But let's remember that Jesus was betrayed by Judas. Caesar was betrayed by Brutus, and this may well happen to any of us. And therefore, to remember to forgive. You don't have to keep those people in your life, but to forgive, because maybe that was actually the reason they came into your life, to expand your capacity to forgive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right, let's hear from Dr. Tim.
I think being Leadership Forum, let me speak to leaders, especially because we are the ones who don't have many friends, to remember that we need friends. At the end of the day, when oil is stripped away, it is those people that who know us, who care about us, that will remain around us. But secondly, as I mentioned, remain yourself. It is so easy to get caught up with power, with the trappings that come with leadership roles and so on, that you lose your very essence. And I think people can only relate to you when they feel it is you, you are being real, and so on, being vulnerable, all those things we've talked about here. Lastly, to remember to not only receive love, but to give love. I think that's becoming a lost art, and it's important to constantly be thinking about the needs of others.
Right, thank you. Finally, let's hear from Simon.
I think I would say let's value friendships. You don't have to wait until you have a near-death experience like me to realize you really need friends. But also say once you get into friendships, there are going to be bumps, there are going to be challenges. Don't give up. Most relationships are only one crucial conversation away from being great. So sit down, deal with issues, and maintain the relationships. So again, I say let's have a great and friendly weekend.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to thank you very much for that enjoyable discussion. Of course, we cannot end talking about friendship. You, my good friends, thank you also for your company this morning. Right, we are winding up, but just to read one or two tweets before we wind up here. We have Mark Sharif. I think he's a real introvert. He says, I actually enjoy being alone all the time. Speak for yourself. This is what Mark Sharif is saying here. Also, we have, let me just continue and share. We have also Willie saying that friends help us deal with stress, make better lifestyle choices that keep us strong and allow us to rebound from health issues and disease more quickly. Friendship is equally important to our mental health. And then we had also a green one saying, don't speak for the introverts, please. Thank you. Right. That is also green there. Right, we just want also to give you the true north. Where is the needle pointing to as far as activities are concerned today? Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i will tour Siaya County today to assess security situation and inspect national government development projects. Also, Kenya Airways has suspended its flights to Rome, Geneva route in response to the latest development in COVID-19 outbreak around the world. The suspension takes effect as from today to 30th April 2020. And I will leave you with a word of the day today, which is from Ben Johnson, who's saying that true friendship consists not in the multitude of friends, but in the worth and value. That is a post giver for you today. Thank you for your valued company. And just to instruct you today, we'll be having a career fair in Kisumu that will be beamed live from Kisumu. That also interferes with our broadcasting today. So Living with Us comes up next after AM Live. Make sure you enjoy the show after this. Thank you very much for your valued company. Have a good day. And be my friend also on Twitter. Follow me at Dibalanea.
This is NTV.
Mzungu alikuja hapo kitambo akapata watu wanachimba gold. Is this a gold mine? Then Muluya akasikia akasema, hii ni kolomani.
Abiri is a solution that gives you the power to book a ticket to your destination at the right time and the right price. Download the app or log on to www.iabiri.com or call us on 0709-215-215 to book your ticket now.
The city of Nairobi, a concrete jungle. Whether in the upmarket or meat to low-tier markets. Housing was everyone's dream. We all wanted a piece of the pie, and then it began to unravel.
Welcome to today's auction sale.
How did we get here?
If you buy a house, it will always appreciate. That's nonsense according to standard economics.
Why people invest in property? Sometimes they never even look at the yield.
How bad is the situation?
For 4 consecutive quarters, we've seen negative prices.
Is there any way out of this mess?
It's a good time to start talking about repurposing some of these buildings.
Sasa Wakenya mnajifanya mutaki hii pesa. Malaria inaomalizanga na how much? Hata waje hiyo. Unajua mtu anaweza kataa hiyo 400k alafu ukufe njaa.
We don't look at what we eat. We just eat to keep on going.
Kianza alisema alitumia 700k, right?
Yeah, for the whole
wewe nitafute utaenda kupeleka mbio upoteze hiyo.
Sour Shower has never been better with the new look Sour. Now with a new formulation too that will leave you feeling fresh for longer, while the soap lasts even longer.
I've been a sinner, hata maji niliombwa nikasema sina. Always wanted to be a singer, but along the way I think focus ilibaki sina.
Nataka niwe nawe, tuwe tu milele. Mimi nawe ni mimi nawe ni mimi nawe. Kazi ya Mungu kweli haina makosa. Ingekuwa binadamu wanatoa ningekosa. Sio juju ni maombi.
Nikufike na kapete, 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 kapete. Foto, kisha chora namba kwenye telefone. Telefone, leo tujua.
The Heat, in association with Coca-Cola.
I remember we went to school, just a normal day, and during lunch break, our house girl came for us from school. She was like, your dad has passed on. So my relatives were like, since you've decided that you are not burying the body in Nyeri, that's it.
What does that mean?
So they distanced themselves. She told me, now, Leah, you need to go home. Your mother has passed on. I just remember screaming. And in my mind, I'm like, you just decided to go after promising.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, you get more.
Lipa na M-Pesa.
Every 100 shillings spent on Lipa na M-Pesa earns you an entry into the draw. Do more with Lipa na M-Pesa.
NTV, turning on your world.
Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Living With Us. I want to have an open and honest conversation with you, okay? So I want you to tell me what you had for breakfast. It's okay, just tell me, it's a safe space. If you had chips, maybe some mandazis, maybe you didn't even have breakfast, just let me know, it's okay. But I'm willing to bet by the time you're done watching this show, you'll have a new perspective on the things that you're ingesting, what you're feeding your body, because that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about our body, our cells, our well-being. We start off at a scientific detox center that is Cryo Cleanse, and we get to speak to Anu Surti, who has dedicated her life and her business to making sure that she educates people about toxins that we take in on a daily basis. And then later we get to meet a nutritionist who will walk us through the foods that we should be eating. Now, enough talking, let's get started. Anu, I have so many questions about what you do. Personally, because I'm on a journey where I'm just like curious about my body and how everything is interconnected. And you've set up a practice to try and explore the body and energy and the mind and toxins as well, and how to detox. So I guess my first question would be, what are some of the toxins, or how do people absorb or take in toxins knowingly or unknowingly?
Absolutely. Actually today we live in a very toxic world, which is way beyond our control. So how do we take in toxins is such a relevant question.
Yeah.
We inhale toxins. We actually drink toxins. We eat toxins, toxic food. And
oh gosh, yeah.
with corona,
yeah,
a lot of toxins come in through your skin,
yeah,
through touch. So these are all the 4 pathways in which the toxins enter your body.
Yeah. First of all, as you were even speaking, I was like, you're absolutely right, because I think the one thing that we know for sure is getting worse is the state of the earth, climate, and just, but because of how we've treated the earth for decades now, if not centuries. So I can imagine, literally, the air we're breathing,
absolutely,
it has toxins in it. Yeah, but we don't think about it. We just kind of assume that it's clean, that the food we eat is organic. But we don't know with pesticides. But yes, I totally get that. So next question would then be, how do we go through detoxes? How do we take these toxins out of our bodies?
So what we do here in CryoCleanse, it's a scientific detox center. We first screen you. Every body is unique. What you need to do for your body is different from what I may need to do. So what kind of a toxic detox program do you need to be on? Number one, our body is blessed with the internal detox pathways. God has Almighty has made us in such a way. We have kidneys, liver, a lymphatic system, bowels, skin, lungs. Everything is supposed to get rid of toxins.
Right.
But why does this happen is when the toxic overload far exceeds the body's ability to throw out the toxins, is when it resides in your system, in your fat cells, in your tissues, in your joints, and ends up with disease. And now what we do is first screen you. We screen you, we have screening questionnaires to first check what is your body's detox capacity. Are you at a peak level? Is it already impaired? Then accordingly, we research a little further to find out the kind of toxins you have an overload of. Heavy metals, chemicals, living beings like mycological toxins. And also check whether it's your gastrointestinal tract or liver. And accordingly, we plan a nutritional program, non-nutritional cleansing therapies, and emotional detox programs. So we're actually addressing it from all angles.
Right. Let's talk about the Scientific Detox Center, right? CREO, which is where we are today. What does that mean, a scientific detox center?
So, it's not just a 2-day juicing or 3-day juicing. What we do here is, it's a science-based method we use, procedure we use. I myself am a detox specialist, a certified detox specialist. And we actually analyze your body before we do it. So the scientific part is the nutritional program we put you on, is the combination of foods. It should have X amount of fiber, X amount of cruciferous vegetables, which are cleansing vegetables for your different detox pathways. Then it has to have the right amount of phytonutrients, right amount of curcumin. All these are elements which help you in cleansing your body. So wherever your body is stuck, suppose your liver is overloaded, we are looking at cleansing your liver, cleansing your kidneys, cleansing your bowels, and cleansing your skin. So the whole food program is meant to not only nourish your body, but at the same time enhance the cleansing of your body.
Right.
And the residual stuff sitting there. Then the detox, non-nutritional treatments are colonic hydrotherapy. Then we have the manual lymphatic drainage massage. Colonic hydrotherapy basically cleanses your gut. of all old matter.
I've heard a lot about that. It sounds to be very effective, a little like scary, but like I've heard that it's you know, people who've done it, I've just heard like
you
interesting
feel wonderful.
feedback.
You just
Yeah.
feel you're walking on air.
Yeah.
You know, it can hold 25 pounds. So can you imagine what you're holding in there?
Oh my gosh.
So this colonic hydrotherapy, then we do the manual lymphatic drainage massage. Lymphatic system carries a lot of toxins. So it's a very gentle massage and helps you release the toxins in a natural way. Then far infrared sauna to sweat it out. Sweating is so imperative to detoxing. And far infrared sweating is the most effective. That's how you're taking out the heavy metals, pesticides, chemicals. That's one of the methods of getting it out of your body.
Sweating it out.
Sweating it out.
And whether you're in a sauna or I guess working out, right?
Working out is good also.
Okay.
But when you're in far infrared, there's a negative ion thing which gets released. Negative ions are released in the far infrared, which attracts the positively charged toxins. So it's drained out of your body.
Right. And what about the last one, which is emotional?
So we use this
angle,
Yes, that's another parameter which is so important.
Right.
Because we store our emotions in different body organs. And it's that childhood memory you don't want to deal with. It's stored somewhere in your body. It's not gone. You've just got it out of our system, we feel, but basically we're not addressing it. There's this suppressed anger, maybe towards your spouse, your children, your parents, your colleagues. And you're unable to express it due to XYZ reason. And what do? You're storing it in your liver. Then a lot of fears, they get stored in your spleen and kidneys. So how do you deal with it? You not even aware it's sitting somewhere. You might have a flare up one fine day and say, okay, I was angry and that wasn't necessary. So what we do is we scan you for that, and unless those blockages are removed, it can impair the functioning of your detox organs, those specific detox organs.
Okay.
So that's how we work on the emotional detox.
And so by that, do you mean through therapy, through talk therapy, or how do you go about taking the emotional trauma?
Through pranic healing.
Okay.
Pranic healing, it's a no-touch, no-drug method.
Okay.
And it's been very effective. We've had fantastic feedback from many of our clients, particularly people who've come in with depression. They felt wonderful. Thereafter, depression, anxiety, anger issues, relationship issues.
Which I know for sure has, lasts and carries psychosomatically in our bodies.
Absolutely.
I'm curious though if the effects are long-lasting. So you talk about them feeling wonderful right after. Does it carry through? Because I know people with depression,
yes,
it could be a lifelong battle.
It can be a lifelong pattern, you're right.
Yeah, so it's not that, it's
not
that it's like you're healed, you're good.
What happens is it's not a one-off session.
Okay.
It will remove what you're currently holding. What you're going to introduce tomorrow with your new experiences, it's not going to deal with that. But what it does is currently we're using it to detox your system of things you're holding on to. If you want to deal with it long time, then you have to go through a full program, which is outside the detox program.
Okay. So let's say I came in here and I was at the very bottom when it comes to how much toxins I have in my body, and we went through all the different paradigms, the nutrition, non-nutrition, and emotional. How long would it take for me to get to peak level?
The whole program is a 28-day program. It takes 21 days for the cellular change to happen in your body and to form a habit. 21 days the body needs. Otherwise you're just doing a quick fix. You can do a 3-day juicing, you say, I'm feeling brilliant, because all you're cleaning is your GI tract, the gastrointestinal tract. For you to address the entire body, it takes 21 days. And then the last 7 days is for reintroducing some of the eliminated foods. So to put you into your body, bring it back to a balance again, to go back into your normal eating habits with a few permanent eliminations. Like if to name a few, carbonated drinks are really bad for you.
Right.
Then again, refined sugars, alcohol, additive rich food, processed food.
My issue is the sugars. I struggle so much when it comes to sugar, but I know that there's people who are watching who one of the different culprits you've mentioned is their struggle.
Yeah.
How do you go about choosing who's allowed to go through the detox program? Do you just kind of accept anyone?
No.
What if they were going through, I don't know, cardiovascular disease, or if cancer, So how do you go about choosing your clients?
So absolutely, that's why we screen them well.
Okay.
So if they're already in a condition which would not be which the detox would not complement that particular condition, then we would not advise it. It's not for everyone. So we actually check your detox capacity, we check your health conditions, there's a health questionnaire, then accordingly we make a plan for you. So it's very customized, individualized.
And do you work in conjunction with other practitioners?
Yes.
Whether it's therapists or
Correct.
Doctors?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I do. I do have certain doctors sending me, especially for the colonic hydrotherapy. I have a couple of doctors who keep recommending their patients. But right now, I've not really been in the medical scene at all. I need to address that because it's very complementary to quite a few of the medical treatments. And it can, if integrated well, it can actually help the client a lot. But as far as other therapists I work with, I have a clinical nutritionist. So if I have somebody who has a condition like diabetes or hypertension, then she helps me formulate the diet plan, the nutritional program, so that we ensure we don't put in foods which would aggravate the condition.
Right.
Then likewise we also have for lady who's just delivered. So her nutritional requirements will be quite different.
Right.
Then I work together with a nutritional, a clinical nutritionist with that. Also thirdly, if they have certain skin conditions, say hives, rashes, which have gone clinical now, then again I work together with other experts in the field.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that journey to healing is a holistic approach.
That's right.
And that you can't fully address whether it's like acne without addressing maybe trauma or your diet or your state of mind. Same with any other disease that you might be struggling with. But do you find that perhaps in this field, in the medical field, that there can sometimes be it's us versus them, and we've got this interesting, unlikely naturopathic treatment option, and it's like, nope, if it's not a pill, we don't want to hear it. Can it be divided?
It's opening out.
Yeah.
It is opening out a lot more now.
Yeah.
They are opening it out a lot more, and in fact in India they work together with Ayurvedic and other modes of
treatment,
natural alternative treatments. Detox is a cornerstone of alternative treatment today. We have tried to demystify what happens, because honestly it's been there for centuries. Hippocrates, the father of so-called Western medicine, used herbs for cleansing.
And today, if you look at like science in the medical field, a lot of times herbalists are looked at now as, what are you doing with the herbs? And yet our forefathers, that's what
absolutely, Egypt. In fact, Cleopatra and ancient Egyptians used reeds to actually do enemas. So the gut is where a lot of disease lies.
Yeah, and
so
we know that
there.
now. There's been a lot more conversations around gut health and how the gut is related to everything. So last question as we wrap up. I know that there is a program or a workshop that's taking place. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, a group of us have come together and we have this Detox in the City. Whole day retreat. This particular one is essentially for women.
Okay.
Very close to Women's Day and all. So we are doing some very interesting stuff out there. We are touching upon essentials of detox, and we've also tied up with what women want. I'm sure you know of Pinky Gilani. She's part of the whole. She's joined us on this. So what we are doing is a whole day of workshops where we are going to touch upon breath work, upon pranic healing, how forgiveness. We are going to touch upon forgiveness. And then essentials of detox. There'll be a yoga dance session by Joanne, and there'll be a talk on superfoods. So we are going to end it up with a panel discussion on detox and the various parameters of detox.
And when is this?
This is this Saturday.
14th of March.
14th of March.
Time and place?
From 8 in the morning till 5:30 at Move and Pick Hotel.
Okay.
Time and place, and there are some charges.
Okay.
It includes lunch and everything.
Yeah.
So it's 8,000 per person who wishes to participate, and you check in at 8 in the morning for the registration. You're there the whole day. We take care of you.
Yeah.
And yes, and if you're interested,
join.
Join.
Yeah.
Join.
And I mean, I do like some of the things that you've talked about, like forgiveness, and not just even forgiveness of others, but forgiveness of self. And I think as women, often we carry so much guilt about what we did, what we didn't do, how we show up, how we don't show up. So to let go of that, I think you'd already be like miles ahead.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So the whole thing is detox and let go. That's the mantra.
Oh, I love it. Anu, thank you so much. Thank you for inviting us into your practice and just telling us a little bit more about detoxing and the toxins that we so obviously carry with us on a daily basis. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon. Such a pleasure speaking to you.
Oh, my pleasure too. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dive deeper into the world of nutrition with another nutritionist whose approach is quite interesting. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in a moment.
Molfix's breathable surface, developed with airsoft technology, is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Tusonge mbele na Fiber Mobile. Get a Fiber SIM card today and enjoy Tusonge Mbele bundles at affordable prices.
Key points to bear in mind, and therefore which will define the kinds of challenges we face and have to face, but also realize the strengths we have as a continent, as a people of Africa, and just making sure we don't continue to waste the opportunities we have.
I don't got time for no one if they slow me down. Every time that I drop, guess they know me now. So this means we get to play.
Very little time until all of Western Europe is absorbed, is taken by the Soviet Superman.
Look alive, Lanterns. We've got incoming.
All the way. Yeah, look at that consistency.
2 toes down, 2 toes down, 2 toes down. 2 toes down, 2 toes down.
What now?
Nyumba zetu ziwe safi, mavazi na mili zetu.
With Lipa na M-Pesa, you get more. Every 100 shillings spent on Lipa na M-Pesa earns you an entry into the draw. Do more with Lipa na M-Pesa.
This week on The Trend.
Oh, my nime overdose. Wakaita makanjo. Kumbe ni sisi huwalipa salawa wao.
Wakaita polisi. Kumbe polisi pia ni mpishi.
Nasikia ati nini wanakata maji. Sasa nkata maji nitapika ugali na nini?
Nakupenda kama sukari. Nakwambia kweli sisiri.
Only on The Trend.
The Trend, in association with Maybelline New York.
Fit Me Foundation from Maybelline, New York. Fits your unique tone and texture. Blurs pores. Stop shine. For your most natural matte. Fit Me Matte and Poreless, only from Maybelline, New York.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums. Ah, Colgate Herbal. Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Welcome back, everybody. To continue our conversation around detoxes and nutrition, we are here at Bridges Organic Restaurant, and I'm about to meet their nutritionist. Her name is Evelyn Kabore, and she's been working here for 3 years, and she's laid out a nice little spread, which I'm going to be honest, you guys, I'm about to just interview her while eating because it all looks great. So Evelyn, join me up here. How are you today?
Thank you very much. I'm well.
Yeah?
Yeah, thank
You've
you.
eaten, you're feeling fresh and ready to like dive into
Super
food
energized
and
yes.
nutrition.
Yes.
This smells so good. I think it's the smoothie that I'm smelling right now that I might just start sipping. But before I even dive into the food, I want us to start by first trying to understand what the term organic actually means and what organic farming means. Because sometimes I think we just assume we have vegetables on our plate, it's organic, period. But that's not the case, is it? So what is organic farming?
So basically organic farming, we all know it because our forefathers started doing that a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's because it's farming without using the synthetic fertilizers. These are the man-made fertilizers, pesticides, the herbicides to control the pests and the insects in the vegetables and fruits or the crops that you're farming.
Yeah.
Actually, organic farming is the natural way of farming. It's basically the practices that you do without the use of synthetic fertilizers or chemicals. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I know that, I mean, the thing that's caused this really, it's industrialization. It's in wanting to make more money. It's in trying to reduce the amount of time crops take to grow.
Yeah.
But ultimately that has, and we now know from science, it has adverse effects on our bodies.
Yeah.
So I know that Bridges is an organic restaurant. What processes do you have that helps identify farms that are actually organic farms?
So as an organic restaurant, of course, we are in partnership with NGOs or organizations that support organic farming. Like we work hand in hand with Kenya Organic Agricultural Network. It helps in training farmers in processes and practices of organic farming. And then we have certification bodies, and these certification bodies enables that the farmers have been certified. That shows that they have been well trained, and the processes or the practices that they are using, they are actually organic. So that's why they actually are certified to be producing organic produce.
Okay. So you only work with or get produce from farms that are certified.
They are certified. Yes, and that have gone training.
Yeah. And isn't it true that as a layman, as just the average Kenyan, that it would be near impossible for me to be able to identify whether these beans were organically farmed, right? If I saw it in the supermarket or at my kiosk, at my mama mboga, it's impossible for me to really know if it's organic or not, right?
Yeah, for sure. You wouldn't know unless it has a label. We have an East African label for organic, that is Klimuhai. So if it is labeled in Klimuhai, it shows that it has underpassed all the practices of organic farming and it is certified. or they have their certification body with them, you know. They can show you this one is certified, and you can see the logos, the Kilimo High certification logo, and then that is organic. But if you don't know that this is organic, or you don't know what to look out for, for sure you wouldn't
You
tell.
just trust that, of course, the person who's selling greens. And I think also as Kenyans, I think sometimes we are a little bit arrogant about our farming practices, and we kind of assume that this is a Western issue, that they have issues with organic produce, but we're good. But that's not the case. In fact, there are pesticides here that are approved that out there it would not be tolerated.
Exactly.
So why is it important to know where your produce is from and to seek out organic options? What are the side effects to our bodies if we ingest produce that is not organic?
Okay, so from current research, as we overall had about the herbicides or the Roundup, the ones that people use to spray their crops, the glyphosates, you know, they have been shown to have carcinogenic effects, you know. They have agents that can cause cancer in our bodies, not necessarily cancer, but also other conditions or other diseases. So it's very, very important to go back to the natural food, the organic food, because they are less with pesticides, herbicides, and their nutritional is quite a bit high in quality. And also they are non-GMOs, so you're sure that whatever you're feeding your body is not genetically modified. And then plus to the organic foods, at least we are balancing the ecology, the agroecology, and the environment. We are reducing the toxicity of all these pesticides and herbicides from the environment, so there's no much pollution of the environment. Actually, we are conserving that ecology.
And we've actually been talking a lot about toxicity in the first segment. So interesting that it comes up again, even as we're talking about our farming practices. Because it's full circle. Everything is like you talked about. It's the ecosystem and everything just being impacted.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you spray with those toxins in the farm now, you spoil the air, it goes to the water resources, and it's a cycle.
It's a domino effect. All right, so let's get started on the foods that you have in front of us. So why this spread? What is it that you want us to learn or get to understand about the spread that you have in front of us?
Okay, so the spread is actually the main ingredients, the key pre-rolls of the diet. It doesn't mean that you have to have a condition, it doesn't mean that you have to have diabetes or hypertension or cancer for you to consume this, but it's for you to understand the foods that help your body to be healthy and obtain the optimum nutrition of it. So that's the reason.
Okay, so this is ultimately, if you're not sure about where to start with your diet and you've just been like, there's too much on the internet, then just listen up, because there's something here that you can take from this spread that would have good effects on your gut and on your body and overall health. Okay, so where do you want to start?
We can start actually from the fruits from this side.
Okay.
So you can see with the juices, these are smoothies.
Oh, so we start with the smoothies
Yes, we start with the smoothies. This is a green smoothie. It has spinach, celeries, and some herbs, oreganos. It's very optimal because of the green nature. They have a lot of chlorophyll. The chlorophyll in them actually helps to purify your blood. And also helps you to detox as well.
Okay.
And also this is
wait, sorry, to go back to the green smoothie, because I haven't heard any fruits in there, and I am a sweet tooth. And I'm just like, so you're telling me all this is just
vegetables?
Just vegetables?
Yeah.
Evelyn, you're trying to kill us today, please. I know we're trying to be healthy, but also give me something sweet. There's no
actually
fruit in here?
No fruit. But actually you can sweeten it according to your tooth, you know. You can add some stevia, or even honey. You can spice it depending with what you want.
I'd go for banana because it's creamy and nice. I'm curious, can I taste this? Because now that you've said it, I'm just like, I can taste this, right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I'm just gonna take a little.
Apples.
This has a mango in it.
It's a mango.
Or something.
It's a mango or a pineapple.
Oh, pineapple.
Yes.
That could be it.
Yes.
Oh, so this has pineapple.
Yeah,
so
because of the fiber in it.
Okay. So it's not fully that you've just, blended all these green vegetables together. There is a sweetener. Because I think it's important that our food is nutritious, but that it's also tasty, right? Because we don't want to just be munching on just greens.
Yes, that's why we aim to do that.
Okay,
but
good.
also you can do like vegetables alone because people have different palates.
Okay. And what liquid do you have here? Is it water? Is it
Yeah, it's just
yogurt,
water.
milk,
Water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. On to the other smoothie.
Yeah.
What's in here?
These are like a berry smoothie.
Okay.
Yeah, so it has strawberries, it has some chia seeds in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it has banana and this one has banana and water as well.
Okay, so this
you
is
can taste.
mostly
So
fruit.
yeah, this is mostly fruit.
Which would also mean mostly sugar.
No.
Or natural sugar at least?
Yeah, so we call it a more berry because the berries are so powerful in antioxidant. So that concentration in it.
Okay. So this is a little bit on the sweeter side.
Yes, a little bit on this.
Yeah, and a good one for children, I imagine. So if you have kids, you want to give them this berry as you ease them into this green smoothie. So you talked about adding chia seeds here. So we know chia seeds are good for. It's one of those like what are they called? Power
nutrients.
No, yeah. What is the term? Now I can't remember the term for it, but essentially it's like packed with everything that you could need. What is superfoods?
Oh.
Yeah, it's a superfood, right?
Okay.
Isn't it? So it's good in protein and fiber. What are some of the other things that you could throw into a smoothie that could take it, several notches higher besides chia seeds? What else can you put in there?
You can do flax seeds, you can do nuts, there are all types of nuts, cashew nuts, almonds, pecans, Brazil nuts, and also groundnuts.
Okay.
So you can do nuts. But with the nuts mixed up now, you don't need to do a lot of them. You just either choose like one seed, and also the pumpkin seed powder. Actually, it's very, very nice in the smoothies because you want to boost your zinc levels, your manganese, magnesium levels. Actually, very nice.
Okay.
Especially for men, actually, they should try it.
Okay. What about things like spirulina or moringa?
Exactly, spirulina, moringa, all those.
Okay, got it.
I can actually add them in the smoothies.
Okay. Shall we move on to the juices here?
Yeah, so these juices are vegetable juices.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one is made of carrots, beetroot, ginger, garlic.
Oh, that actually sounds like it would be a rejuvenating.
Yes, so
boost,
it's a
like
great
energizing.
detoxifier. So if you want to cleanse your gut, you take this in the morning.
Okay.
It actually feels so great.
Yeah.
So this one is more of nettle. You do a lot of stinging nettle with some carrots. Yeah. That's why the greenish and the orangish carrot.
Okay, so let's pause before we dive into the food. I want to understand, why would someone choose a smoothie over a juice or a juice over a smoothie? And what are the benefits and or disadvantages to each one?
All right. So I wouldn't say that taking a vegetable juice or taking a smoothie has any disadvantages at all. Okay. So it's according to, because in a day you're supposed to have like 5 to 6 servings in a day of fruits and vegetables. So having a smoothie and a juice is actually one way of increasing that serving in a day. Yeah, so if you're not able to take a lot of vegetables, so we encourage people, can you do vegetable juice? Yeah, so you shall actually meet the requirements, the same requirement you are to eat as the spinach, the broccoli, as much as if you juice them, it's much okay. Yeah.
But because I've also heard people say that juicing takes away from the fiber, or if you juice something, it means you're not really ingesting and taking in the fiber that that plant has.
Yeah.
So in that sense, is it better to kind of stick to smoothies, or do you still think it doesn't matter as long as you're
it's all fine, because once you take the vegetable juice, it has the soluble fiber.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bulky like the smoothies.
Okay.
So in smoothies you get the whole fiber.
Yeah.
But in the vegetable juices you still get the fiber, but it's very insoluble. So this digestion of this is very, very fast. It takes like 2 to 3 minutes in your gut. So it's actually easily digested. But this stays longer and keeps you fuller for a longer time.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So before we move in, actually, you know what? We're gonna get into the vegetables and everything else.
Yeah.
After the break. So you want to stick around to learn what other tips that Evelyn has for us. We'll be back in a moment.
This week on Tin Republic, the Three Musketeers are bringing the heat. DJ Bash on the ones and twos, playing all your favorite songs and your requests. And guess what? Avril and Naiboy will be gracing our studios this Saturday. They bring the brand new song Rada, and you too can join in all the fun from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on NTV on Tin Republic. Remember, the hashtag is Tin Republic NTV. See you this Saturday.
Tin Republic, in association with Fanta.
Hanging out, it's my summer now.
Sasa Wakenya mnajifanya mutaki hii pesa. Malaria inaumalizanga na how much? Hata waje hiyo. Unajua mtu anaweza kataa hiyo 400k alafu ukufe njaa.
We don't look at what we eat. We just eat to keep on going.
Kianza alisema alitumia 700k, right?
Yeah, for the whole
wewe nitafute utavinda kupeleka mbio upoteze hiyo.
Sour Shower has never been better with the new look Sour. Now with a new formulation too that will leave you feeling fresh for longer, while the soap lasts even longer.
There are issues that we need to discuss as Africans. How shall we feed our growing population? Because that's a terribly important point. The youth, the biggest stakeholders in this scenario, how do they fit in, and what lessons can they learn from the current crop of leadership? What is their dream of Africa? What do they think Africa should be in the next 60 years? Because this really indeed is their conversation. And what can they contribute to the realization of that dream?
The first ever Western and Nyanza edition of the Higher Education and Career Fair is here. My Network invites you to the Jomo Kenyatta Sports Ground, Kisumu, on 13th and 14th March 2020 from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. The theme is Connecting You to Your Future. Join us and get the opportunity to interact with institutions of higher learning, tertiary institutions, and career guides experts. Lots of fun, learning, training, entertainment, and gifts. Entry is absolutely free. For more information, call 0707-871-918 or email careerfair@ke.nationmedia.com.
Do your gums hurt? Yeah. Does your toothpaste contain sage, eucalyptus, myrrh, chamomile? All that in one toothpaste? Yes, try Colgate Herbal. Colgate Herbal contains nature's best herbs and Colgate's fluoride technology to give you strong teeth and healthy gums.
Ah, Colgate Herbal.
Let's go. Colgate Herbal for strong teeth and healthy gums naturally.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Welcome back, everybody. We are at Bridges Organic Restaurant, and I've got Evelyn, who is a nutritionist here. And I'm meant to understand that everything on the menu here is Evelyn approved.
Yeah.
And you've kind of gone through to make sure that it is as nutritious and as balanced as it could possibly be.
Yeah.
Oh wow, so she's done all the work for you guys at this restaurant, basically is what she's saying. Like, just come and order something because it's going to be balanced. All right, so now let's jump into the meals as we try and address what we want to look for in the foods that we're eating and what we're ingesting. Shall we start with the breakfast? This would be breakfast, right?
Yeah, or should be a snack or breakfast.
Nah, this is a massive. If you were having this snack, this is filling. Okay, so talk me through this.
So these are fruit salad, and you can see we have some chia seeds in it.
Yeah.
It's a packed salad bowl with fruits.
Okay.
It's all mixed with fruits, grapes, strawberries, apples, pineapples, and
Watermelon.
watermelon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we have like a bio yogurt, or you can do a yogurt on top of it.
Okay.
Yeah. So this, you can have it as a breakfast and as a snack as well.
Okay. So is it important to choose a specific kind of yogurt? What tips would you have around trying to pick the right? Because in the market there's loads of yogurts.
Yeah.
So what ingredients are we looking for?
So I'll call this natural yogurt.
Okay.
It's natural yogurt. It has no like sweeteners or any colors or colorings or anything. So we don't do that. So we go straight for the natural yogurt, because we also need to have fermented foods in our guts to help us increase the good microbiomes for the gut health as well. So actually they are very, very nice, the fermented foods. So in your meals as you're doing, make sure that you're having natural yogurts. The more sick, those who are fond of it.
And for girls too, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't it help with like our bacterial balance? If you know what I'm talking about, ladies.
Yes, exactly.
Right? It's good for
you can
girls
do the
too,
fermented vegetables, the kombuchas. You can brew your own tea. For those good bacteria. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that's it for the fruit salad. Talk me through this.
This is
plate.
a vegetable salad. So
it looks like a rainbow.
Yeah.
It looks like a rainbow.
You should be eating rainbow in your diet, on a daily basis, for you to have all these flavonoids from all these colorings of all the vegetables. So we do them separately. So we either do fruits on their own and vegetables on their own.
Okay.
So these are raw vegetables. They're actually more quite nutritional dense when they're taken raw. So you get the packed up vitamins and minerals in them. So that's the salad. We serve it raw with all those, the onions, the tomatoes, the baby corns, the cucumbers, the turnips.
What is this white?
These are the turnips.
Turnips.
Yes. So the turnips. So the turnips, we actually branch them a little so that they can be able to have the
to soften a little,
to soften
and it's easy to digest. I imagine.
Easy to digest.
Okay.
These are the bell peppers and the red cabbage.
I see you have avocado here.
Yes, avocado is one of the source of the good fats.
Yeah.
So nowadays you should ensure that you have good fats in your meals, and one of them is avocado. Avocado actually they are everywhere, and they are very, very beneficial to our bodies.
Okay.
Because they are very good oils.
All right, so that's done. Also, before we even move on to that, can I just say I'm so happy this sweet corn is one of my favorites. So I'm just like, phew, it's in it, because I can snack on it like I'm being paid. Actually, on that note, is there something that one can eat and maybe, in small portions, it's amazing, but if you eat too much of it, it has adverse effects, whether it's spinach, sweet corn, beetroot, carrots, do vegetables or even fruits does it start to negate the benefits once you take too much of it?
No, actually, like this portion is quite okay.
Okay.
Yeah? Or just take one of it, like a fruit, just one orange. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then you can eat another fruit. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
depending with how many times you're consuming, but then just taking like one type of fruit in a day and say that's enough.
Yeah.
Because like an orange, you just get vitamin C from it.
Yeah.
You need iron. You need the vitamin K's, the A's. Vitamin E, B12, in all this.
So it's good.
Yeah.
But I guess what I'm trying to understand is if, we've said green juice is really good for you.
Yeah.
But can there be a point at which I've taken so much green juice that A, my body doesn't even know what to do with it anymore, it doesn't have the same impact, or B, it starts to have the reverse effect where I'm not giving it other nutrients. So can too much of something be a problem?
Yes, too much of something can be dangerous actually. Like for example, we take ginger.
Okay.
So some people get to take a lot of ginger and a lot of ginger and a lot of ginger. So you know, when you consume a lot of ginger, it brings the instability of the stomach and brings about the stomach acidity and everything, and then you start reacting from the ginger. But just yes. Then you have to take the right quantities every time. Don't like take it too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Let's move on to this plate now.
So those were the raw vegetables. These are the cooked vegetables.
Okay.
So you can either do the two, because some of the vegetables, once you take them when they are raw, they are beneficial, but some you need to steam them a little bit so that you can have the fat soluble vitamins from them. So it's not always advised for you to take everything raw. Some foods need to be a little bit cooked. So that we can earn other vitamins as well.
Yeah. When it comes to cooking, what tips do you have? Because also we are notorious for really cooking our veggies and spinach and everything.
Exactly. So what we do here at Bridges, we only have 4 methods of cooking. Yeah, you either take it raw, we either steam, we boil, and we grill. We
so
grill
it
a bake of
maintains,
them. Yes.
It maintains
the nutrients.
of the nutrients. Okay. What is this sauce and where does it go?
So this sauce, we normally take it in these foods. They are a bit more dry. They're not.
So it wouldn't be for the salads, it would be for that.
Yeah, for this.
Okay, so let's move on to this meal before we get into what the sauce is. So take me through this.
So this a typical meal that anybody can actually really afford. It's black beans with some brown rice and some vegetables, actually all balanced. Yeah, so you don't need to say that you have to take a fish or a chicken for you to have protein in them. So even the legumes as well, they are plant protein based.
Okay. And so what is in this?
So the sauce is actually made of tomatoes and some potatoes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, take me through this meal.
So this actually a very nice meal. You get, it's a fish fillet. It's been baked with some greens. These are our traditional vegetables and some wholemeal brown ugali.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's quite balanced, very nutritious once you take it.
Yep. And the last, oh no, it's not because we have herbs on there.
So this one is a chicken soup. So soup actually are very, very nutritious, and people need to do a lot of more soups, for their gut. So if you feel like you're not consuming more vegetable, if you're not able to do the smoothies, the vegetable juices, you do soups. And these soups, you do them with herbs and these,
I'm a big lover, I have to say this, I'm a big lover of butternut soup. And I also just recently learned and heard somewhere that one of the best ways to maximize on nutritional value from any meal you can have is in the form of a soup.
Yes.
Like if you find a soup that's, not packed with like salt and sugar and all these things, because to make it sweeter, or if you find a good soup, you're good. So that's good. So that's chicken soup, and you said what's in there again? So
it has some oregano, basil, thyme, and rosemary.
All right. So now that we're talking about some of those herbs, take me through why we have herbs on the table.
Yes, so this is actually what we do use a lot around here, herbs and spices. And we encourage people to use a lot more of herbs and spices, especially in their foods, in their soups, in the juices, because they are highly antioxidants. When I mean antioxidants, they are able to purify your blood. They are also able to stop bad cells from growing and all that sorts of it. So you become healthy. So these are very good for your healthy diet and also for healing diet.
And what is the best way to consume it? Is it can you just, throw some herbs as you're making your chicken?
Yes.
Or
in
so
soups,
soups?
especially in soups, they are very nice. And also your stews.
In stews.
Yes, in
Soups
stews.
and stews.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I find it interesting to note that on this spread, meat only shows up twice in the form of the chicken soup and the fish.
Fish, yeah.
So is that in some ways saying that having a predominantly vegetarian diet is better for you?
Actually, plant-based diet is better, but we also need some of the meat so that you can get the vitamins and nutrients from them as well.
Yeah.
So we don't say that every meat is bad.
Yeah.
And depending with the source where you get it, like grass-fed beef is actually very nice.
Yeah.
It helps your body. Also the lean meat, the fishes and the organic chicken. Depend if you know your source and you know these are quite well, because meats nowadays, if you get organic chickens, organic fish, so you are sure these are not GMOs, there are no antibiotics,
Then you're good to go.
Yeah, they're safe,
Okay. Last question is around supplements. Is there ever need or room for someone's nutrition to have supplements? Do they ever come into play? And if you have a balanced diet, can you just completely do away with supplements?
Yeah, for sure. If you know, and you know for sure, you're having all this balanced diet. You're having the right servings of fruits, the right serving of vegetables, your whole grains are super okay, your proteins are fine, your antioxidants are taken care of, you have good fats, then there's no need of supplements. But the supplement sometimes comes in when you're healing, when you're deficient, but don't make it like it's part of your healthy, your healthy journey. So it's good but the first priority is for you to check on your diet.
Okay.
So once you have everything in maximum, then you don't need to supplement yourself. But if you have a deficient and maybe you're recovering from an illness and you have a deficient of this, then you can supplement.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
That was like nutrition 101. Let's beat these toxic foods that we're eating, habits that we've picked up. So this was really good. Thank you. And I think actually the show in general is just trying to explore the different ways that we could detox, replenish, and rejuvenate our bodies through good nutrition and good practices. Thank you so much, Evelyn. All right, I'm gonna love you and leave you and wish you a really nutritious day. You've got everything that you need from today's show. So as you go about this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, put down the chips, put down the sodas, and go for something that will add value to your body and to your overall well-being. That's what I say. Have a great Friday, everybody, and I will see you on Monday at 9 a.m. sharp. So you better be there, all right? I'll see you on Monday. Bye, everybody.